Scoundrels and scallywags of the measly crew, this is your captain speaking, and I am excited to announce that after 2 long years of podcasting the internet seas, we have finally reached the shores of Egghead Island! Yes! It's the One Piece Virgin Egghead's Book Club podcast! And after 105 volumes, we're finally on the titular fucking arc, Egghead Island! With Egghead himself, it's Simeon Eggy!
Well, I gotta tell you, you know what, that's probably gonna be my hat today. Wow, gee willikers, how did I thought this whole time the entire island was gonna be populated with Eggman from Sonic the Hedgehog. That's what I was waiting on. Turns out the island was actually named after us, and I'm not talking about just my character, you know this right though, because it's named for absolute cutting edge genius.
That's right. That's right. And not one Vegapunk, but 6 or 7. 6-7 Vegapunks, Eggy. You get it. Even waifu Vegapunks. Did you think you'd want to jerk off the Vegapunk when you finally met him?
Well, I said, keep Vegapunk over there, because this one's about to be Vegaspunk, if you know what I'm saying. I've seen enough figurines in my time to know what people do to them. They're not me, because I'm high IQ like Vegapunk, but somebody, well, that's they better have some kind of filter, maybe a border of some kind on this island, because it could get tricky.
Eggy, when we reviewed Volume 100, we went 2 hours and 40 minutes. And if we gave all of the massive information in Volume 105 its due diligence, we would be here probably for 4 hours. As people might be able to tell, Eggy's not in his usual closet in a cabin in the woods. He's on the road, probably in like a hotel closet right now, it looks like. So I'll try not to make him sweat to death for 4 hours. Maybe we'll go through all this big info, a little quicker if we can. But the measly crew, you might have noticed, we haven't had an episode for a couple weeks after doing like 3 a week for, about a month. And my reasoning for that is when Oda himself finished the Wano arc, we had to endure something, Eggy, called the Void Month. Oda said, okay, Act 2 of One Piece is over. I need a full month to really recalibrate and get my plans ready for Act 3. So if we had to wait a full month to get one chapter, these people could be fine waiting 10 days for a podcast. It is what it is.
That's right, and I had somebody actually message me today because they are not a measly crew member. They said, wow, 1,000 chapters? They're like, that's really incredible, Eggy. Like, I never thought you could stay so dedicated to anything. And I said, bitch, check what, you see this? Okay. This is the finest thrifted material placed together out of pure love. I think this actually was part of my Elvis costume once upon a time. It was red. And it is, so I'm carrying these things with me just like our dear Straw Hat crew. And I'm here to do what it do. Until, 1,000 down, 1,000 more to go. That's what I'm talking about. Dude,
Eggy, your biceps are looking insane over there. Have you been actually hitting the gym? Like, that looks legit.
It's funny because I have what is it, Planet? I do have a Planet Fitness membership going right now, and it's the premium kind. It's like the 2-for-1 special, tanning booth, all that stuff. But also, I ain't gonna get too inclusive here, but things have been a little bit wavy on my seas lately, and I think I've just been eating hard-boiled eggs to sustain myself, and I've been on go mode for a lot of things. So probably I might have shed a couple pounds, but gained a couple pounds of muscle, so I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Shoving tons of eggs into the Egghead. I love it, Eggy. Usually we save the drink combo section for about 15-20 minutes in, but I've got something special planned since we finally made it to our titular Egghead Island, celebrating Eggy as the Egghead. And this is a slight spoiler, but it's an SBS spoiler, which I think does not count, Eggy. But you might recall, Kaido and Big Mom were once on a crew under the captain of Rox D. Zebek. And in the SBS of Volume 115, Oda revealed that Rox D. Zebek's favorite beverage is Bacardi rum. Literally Bacardi rum. Now, I don't understand how trademarks and titles of alcohol work, Eggy. Does it make sense that specifically a One Piece character is drinking Bacardi?
You know, what is it, since 1791? I mean, that's still quite an awful long ways, I think, from what we've determined to be an
Born in Cuba
equivalent
in
time frame.
1862.
Oh, wait a second. I know some good people that were born in Cuba in the 1800s. They did a lot of good things. Not so good right now, but you know what? Rox Diesebek, he's a freedom fighter, and so was that guy, I think, in the 1800s. So I think that's probably what it's all about.
You think Rox Diesebek was a freedom fighter? I mean, maybe. It's yet to be seen. So since Rox loves Bacardi, I thought I'd have some Bacardi on the rocks. It's just a glass of ice and straight up
goodness.
Bacardi. What do you think, Eggy? Good drink
I'll
combo?
let you know. Well, my drink combo has a little bit of rum in it today, actually, as well.
Let's see it, because we need a toast.
Well, it's a little bit different on the
Red Solo Cup, hell yeah.
I'm with my country folk today on the road here a little bit, so they fill them up. I think they got a song about that. But this here is some good old country time lemonade, drink mix powder, mixed it up, plus a little bit of Quick Star orange juice. They got them up here too, even though, well, if you know, you know. I took a little bit of Sprite and a little bit of a $1 beer, some Busch light beer. So it's shandy mode, but then I said, listen, you can't be too sure about these dark, twisted maelstroms. They're going to flip you around. They might even have some robot sharks going on, as a matter of fact. So I took a big, healthy shot of dark rum, plopped it in there, and it still largely looks like lemonade with orange juice remnants at the top. But I'm going to take a big old swig for the culture to see what it's on right now.
Okay, cheers.
Oh. Ooh. Oh, wow.
Mine tastes like medicine.
Yeah, that's what I call it, no matter what it is, you know, as long as it's got the gasoline
It's
smell.
got the cure. Yep.
Yeah, it's the Sprite is fizzy, the lemonade's tangy, the orange is sweet, and it's kind of like almost as like a smoky cola kind of thing going on in the back end with that dark rum. That's pretty dank, I gotta say. You know, well, actually, I suppose it's full of beer too. That's probably part of the fizz.
I think this cut-off sleeve shirt and the red Solo cup make it look like you're an extra in the movie Project X.
I'm a cowboy versus pirates today. I'm the new fucking OC combo for your favorite DeviantArt user.
You're the drink combo of people. Just a bunch of shit mixed together.
Is a shirt. I'll have to. I don't got a lot of mobility here in my
hotel closet. Well, if we're comparing
board.
shirts, Eggy, what do you think of this one?
Oh my lord!
This, of course, is the official Cross Guild King Buggy edition poster that his two crewmates were not too happy about. But Eggy, we got so much to get into. We'll keep drinking our drink combos as we go. We did our hat opinions, Eggy. Of the 10 billion things you could choose from in this volume, what is your top of Egghead mind?
You know, I guess. Well, it was kind of my hat, I suppose. Maybe I should have. But I can't help myself. I guess it's just such a big thing. I really thought, I don't know where I saw this from. Maybe it's something eventually, maybe the real Dr. Vegapunk. Look, I swear to God, I saw something cultural osmosis style that was like a big-headed guy, like some Pinhead, Conehead, Dan Aykroyd stuff. I swear, I don't know. I guess I must have just imagined it or something.
In One Piece itself, we have seen silhouettes of Vegapunk, and he might have had an elongated head, so... And even Fukurokuju from the Wano arc, he had a similarly really long head, so... You know, Oda's introduced that's a concept here, and maybe that's what you're remembering.
Yeah, I guess it just makes sense, but I just, honestly, I felt, I don't know, not bad. It's just like, it's hard for me to say was not like the foremost with like everything going on and like all the craziness. I think that just was like really up there for me because I don't know. I just expected to see my people. I was looking at my Dr. Eggman figurine that I got out of the blind box at Walmart for $1 like 2 years ago now at this point. I was like, okay, here we go. Our people about to show up. And I was like, wait, hot chicks, smart people? Whoa. This is...
And there are a lot of, I mean, just breaking down the 6 punks. I like that one of them is just a Daft Punk helmet guy. Like, really? Mm-hmm. Like, the word punk is enough to have Oda just make that the character design? Because, they're called punk, too. Fuck it. But we meet, what, Lilith is her name? The evil Vegapunk, this chick who just wants to steal her treasure because she needs funding for her experiments. When this chapter came out, a lot of people said, hey, she looks a little bit like Sanji's mom from the flashback, maybe. And if these punks are like artificial people created by Vegapunk to go out and to do his shit, I don't know. We know that Mads was a thing. All the mad scientists, like Sanji's dad was part of it with Vegapunk and Caesar Clown. Maybe Vegapunk wanted to fuck Judge's wife and had a crush. I mean, did we see Sanji crushing on Lilith like he usually would with a woman? Or maybe he's like, oh, that kind of looks like my mom. Maybe I'm not horny as fuck for this one. I don't remember seeing like big hard eyes, but maybe it's been about 10 days since I read the volume, folks.
I know that feel. Well, I'm going to tell you what my first impression was here. You know, I'm really de-chudifying my mind lately. I'm really being so much more open than ever before. But there's a lot of people who I gamed with 10 years ago who now, they used to be named something different. Now all their names are Lilith. So when I saw like our first touchdown on the Egghead Island, the genius science robot, multiple personality, multiple whatever you want to say, the diffusion of different archetypes for there to be a Lilith, it didn't exactly necessarily land with me in a surprising way that Sanji might not have immediately gravitated towards this character in a infatuated manner. And
you're saying he suspects the transgender element. Is that what we're hinting at here? Is that trans people choose the name Lilith and that Oda's being like anti-woke by having Vegapunk's tranny insert be named Lilith? Is this all like 5D chess?
Well, I mean, that is what I'm hinting at. That is true. However, I think that Oda possibly might have just observed a phenomenon of people who are, you know, perhaps inclined to different body modification or future-centric, future-minded adjustments to their person.
Transhuman, yes.
But honestly, I think out of all the first introductions here to the Vegapunk family, if you will, I think that York was, or it might read different in a couple translations here, but I think she, in fact, was truly the most literal me. The PSE cycle, I think is what.
Yeah, it's like eat, sleep, and it's shit cycle. Yeah.
I said finally some real representation. There had to be somebody on this island that was true to the real Egghead cause. You know, when I saw they're just like dumping in order to fuel the main like Vegapunk circuit or network, if you will. Just having this one person whose name is suspiciously close to Yoke. Let's just say, it is what it is. Most of the same letters. Just
are you saying if you pull a full Vegapunk and you divide yourself into 6 different entities, you yourself would want to be the one that eats, shits, and sleeps all day?
Well, you know, somebody's got to do it. And when it comes down to the finer points, I'm very good at rapping to no beats, and I'm very good at reading frog memes on the internet, but when it comes down to it, I think, you know, my strong suits are eating, sleeping, and you know, and shitting. So, you know, if somebody's got to do it,
you would say you're good at shitting, because I would imagine we're both very bad at shitting. I think we're really fighting a battle in there.
Well, I won't TMI our viewers. Let's just say, you know what?
Once you got the cytoplasmosis shit. You've been eating too much fruit and vegetable lately.
I did. As soon as I heard the message, I went and I ate an entire salad. And I didn't care. I was like, listen, they're saying it's from Taylor Farms specifically, who I guess does supply, but I know they have bags of that stuff at the stores, so watch out for that, folks, if you're a measly crew. By the time this comes out for everybody else, probably half the country's dead, so it is what it is.
I thought it was really ironic, because I have the same symptoms, but I never eat vegetables or fruits. It's just like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't.
All I'm going to say is that we should all drink coffee, eat prunes, and for all of us elderly people whose age starts with 3, Metamucil. It's not just for the senior citizens anymore, because there's a lot of people going down. I guess we've been eating too much delicious food combos. It is what it is.
Eggy, what do you think of this? We got 3 male Vegapunks, 3 female. The male, the Daft Punk, he's like, I'm the good one. The girl, I'm the evil one. The girl, I'm the violent one. the girl, I'm the lazy one who eats all day. And then the men are like, yeah, I come up with experiments. I'm good-hearted. You know, why do the men Vegapunks get the positive traits and the women are, you know, is Otis saying women are inherently evil here?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I feel like when it comes down to it, it really goes to show that we pair off so well, because men, we do everything, and women, everything is done for them. I mean, what are we going to do? It's going to be like you're playing Minecraft, you're just building a row of mud blocks up to the sky, to the sun, and you die. Like, what are you building these blocks for? Somebody's got to go live in there. You decorate. Women are great at that. They decorate, they put the little torches around, and they build a little pen for all your animals you have to slaughter. They don't slaughter them because we got to do that. You know, it's a tough thing to do, but they'll help us herd. So we're all very complimentary. And, you know, Oda, the trad mindset that he obviously has, as we all know, you know, he's presenting it in his way.
Yeah, lots of, I mean, Oda's been on a roll with gender relations lately, so I'm glad he's keeping it going. My top of mind. What do you think of this, Eggy? Another game-breaking plot twist at the very end of the volume. Actually, 900 years ago, the technology was far more advanced than we have even today. One of those, what do they call that? Like post-apocalypse, sort of, but we don't know that we're living in one? What do they call that?
Well, I always defaulted to like an Atlantis analogy personally, because that's just I have like an autistic kind of niche that I don't really explore anymore, but years ago I would say, I learned from like a YouTube video, and one other quick tangent here, because YouTube also taught me that the reason why Jewish and Muslim people don't eat pork is because pigs are a cursed race of human that got changed into pigs by magic, like 5,000 years ago or something. So certain YouTube videos stick with me.
Doesn't the DNA kind of align with that theory? Don't they have very similar DNA to us?
And they're the most intelligent animal,
and the most tastiest.
Now. I watched an educational program named John Oliver today, and he said that feral pigs are taking over the entire country, so I believe it to be true.
You know, Eggy's down bad when he's on his road trip and he's watching John Oliver for entertainment.
Hey, the thing about it is that, you know, he's always going to have 25 minutes of something to make you think. And anyway, the Berber people of North Africa, according to a YouTube video I watched in like 2018, are the descendants of Atlantis, and I've been stuck on that ever since. So anytime I think about like a great people that are descended from greatness we can't even possibly imagine. The YouTube video also said that Asian and white people came from the moon, so I don't know what that's about. But
Oda might have seen this video, dude. Because I'm pretty sure some races in One Piece came from the moon too. I mean, they're called Lunarians, for fuck's sake.
And they have very unique powers, and they can fly. You know what? I think that anyway, that's why I get stuck on the Atlantis analogy.
The wings that we see like in Skypiea and stuff, like they're useless. They don't actually fly, but in the low gravity of the moon, I bet those wings actually fucking work. Oh,
it's real, folks.
Oh.
I'm thinking that, hey, listen, if you don't know, we're breaking new ground, new analogies, new theories every single day. Make sure to smash that like button and stay tuned in.
Could King fly because he was Lunarian, or because he had the pterodactyl fruit?
It seems synergetic to me, because you wouldn't want to have a kaku fruit and be like a flying giraffe. Like your neck's going to hit everything, you're going to die right away.
I mean, that's kind of a dragon.
So you could be like, I think you could take flight and then like, so he could like position himself maybe, and then kind of like really lock into his pterodactyl mode. I'm thinking it's real.
And I don't want to go off on another tangent about dinosaurs, but I had another brain blast between episodes about what Oda taught us during all these Wano fights with the dinosaur people. Like they were saying, oh yeah, you didn't know this, but what was like the Triceratops can like levitate in the air by spinning his shit. And the Brachiosaurus queen, he's like, his body's actually a snake, and he can shoot his snake body out of the rest of the Brachiosaur. And they're implying that this is how the dinosaurs actually were. But then I was like, wait a second. We fucking met real dinosaurs in Little Garden. And they were the exact same as the dinosaurs we know in the real world. They didn't do all this crazy shit. Which then got me, I realized devil fruits are not limited to reality. They're limited to what you think reality is. That was literally Oda saying, these people with this dinosaur fruit, they think the dinosaur could do it, and therefore they can. And that's really like the basis for what Luffy's been doing in Gear 5.
His cartoonishness has become absolutely certified. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's interesting because, yeah, I mean, maybe these people would have gone to Little Garden, but it certainly wouldn't necessarily need to be the basis, because who knows where these fruits came from or where their origin was or anything like that. You're taking a form and a certain functions that we know to be, base or there's something else I'm trying to think of, but that are definitely a part of what this fruit represents. But other than that, I mean, it's essentially like, to piggyback on the whole flight thing. I mean, you could fly on a hang glider or you could fly on a jet engine. If you got the flight fruit, that's the range that you could theoretically have, or you could be on some whole other stuff, some rocket boot stuff we don't even know about. So you take something and you have a baseline for it, but then we have awakenings, we have, and even before that, just really anything that could feasibly exist. I think Kanku had something, I hate to keep going back to him all the time for my reference for like stupid zone type. That's the dumbest zone type.
I think I know what you're going to say, because this came to my mind as well. Like Kaku thought that a draft, like something he was doing was a giraffe type move, and Zoro was like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, it's not. But because he thought it was, he could like do this crazy fucking spin. Is that what you were gonna bring up?
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say, actually. Yeah.
And so I think the message from Oda is that creativity is the most powerful force in the world, because if you're given a rubber fruit, you're probably not going to intuitively think, oh, I can use this to accelerate my blood pressure and go Gear 2 and then I'm super fucking fast. Like, that's not a built-in rule of this fruit. Luffy had to use his creativity and imagination and then just fucking force it into working. And the same can be said for every single thing in real life. Forget magical fruits. Imagine you're a caveman and you're like, okay, I'm given sticks and rocks. These are used to what, I guess, throw at animals? No, if you use your creativity, you could use them to make fucking fire! You could turn them into fire! And that was not built into the rules of these things that you're given. You can just figure out shit out. I love One Piece so much, Eggy. It made me realize I need to be way more fucking creative. And I'm just... Oh, it's so good. I'm glad that my doctor said I'm going to die of a stroke in the next 10 years, because I think One Piece will end within 9. So at least I'll get to see the end. But continue. I went on a big dinosaur tangent.
Now, let me think where I was at. Well, just, so with, I think the flight, well, let's see, the double fruits, we're talking about flight, Lunarians, races from the moon. Yeah, so, I think, so the Atlantis theory, if you will, that's where my mind kind of generally goes to, because obviously there's so many, the lost civilizations, but it seems to me like a lot of times I'll hear people default to pyramids, Egyptians, things like that, and we have a lot of, like Mesopotamia onward, we have a certain amount of, actually, I don't know if you heard this, it's not super relevant, they recently used like AI to be able to like translate this Mesopotamian tablet and like figure out what was on it, because they like had such a hard time decoding it, but they just like scanned it into Chat GPT and they're like, hey, we know this thing is like the letter L, what is everything else? And then Chat GPT's like, well, if you think about it, I guess this would be it, and then like translated it instantly.
Did it say anything interesting?
I think it was like, the river flows so nicely this season, I'm happy, like something totally irrelevant.
Big waste of time. Generational cuckolding.
Like centuries of research.
Like I'm glad my ancestors didn't translate this. They would have been so disappointed. They died thinking that there was some wonder in the world.
Right. Hey, but maybe that's what it's all about. But in this instance, since the last panel we do see in the volume is this giant, it looks like actually the armor from Dragon Quest. It might be Dragon Quest like 4 maybe, but I think there's something called like the hero's helmet that very strongly resembles this sort of face mask guarding horned appearance here. So I think, this isn't exactly just people figured out how to chew on bark the right kind of way 1,000 years ago to like cure their disease. I think this was some real stuff. And that's why I posit my mind to the Atlantid theory, because that's kind of like a lot of what we get from these Egyptian ruins and etc. Like, oh, you know, they used to be able to, they invented glasses before Benjamin Franklin. So, well, that's cool, but we got that now. We need something. What else they got? You know, I'm like, hey, sorry, Egyptians, you were like on that like 4,000 years ago, but you know, we need something fresh. It's 2026, okay? You know, so let's get some giant robots coming, Godzilla, you know, shit, you know, UFOs flying out of the ocean. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no more holograms. We need real giant Godzillas and robots, which, yeah, this seems to be a real giant robot. What's the deal with the horns that Oda keeps drawing? This also has one of its horns fucking chopped off, just like Onigashima was until Zoro gave it a double chop. Are we gonna like meet some ancient giant character who's got his horn chopped up one day?
We could. I don't know if it's just meant to convey like struggle or conflict occurred. It wasn't just like a peaceful, I'm just going to lay down and die 900 years ago. Like there was something that happened here that led to that. Because I don't know. I feel like Oda would probably want to put in a deeper meaning, but at the same time, it's sort of like a situation here where we're going to just want to convey something. And that's kind of an easy way to do it, you know, especially in the depiction here where we have such a large amount, really a far back viewpoint where we're having everybody being looked at and we have all kinds of stuff around. So you can't, it's difficult possibly in that depiction to really have like a good tarnishing or something that would, you know, imply a combat or a struggle of some kind. But I think also there's like a giant, what appears to be spear or something maybe going through the body of the robot. That could be something to that effect as well. But that's kind of how I read it, but I'm sure it does have something deeper than that, however.
I know you have been using the Atlantis example, but are there any video games you've played that had this plot where like technology was extremely advanced and then society forgot about it? Is that the plot of Chrono Trigger, at least? Or is that the exact opposite plot?
I think there's, you know, it's sad to say, I think that I don't think I've done a full playthrough of Chrono Trigger in my adult life. It was really a pop and title back when I was a kid. Very, very meaty, you know, very rich, but I'm a little bit rusty on it, I'm not going to lie. I don't know, for some reason my mind goes like Phantasy Star, but that's like a crash landing on a planet and then, you know, like needing to get things from that planet. I don't think it's quite the same.
Some people thought maybe Game of Thrones might have that plot twist one day. Yet to be seen. Yeah, anyway, let's stick through. We got so much to get through. We have to put Wano on the tier list, Eggy. And I did send you a photo of our lists here, so we could do that. But yes. Should we? Actually, let's add 2 new people to the crew, and then we'll finish up Wano. How about that?
All right. Sounds good to me.
We've got somebody whose name sounds a little bit similar to mine in some ways. We've got James Miller.
Okay. Grain Miller, okay. Grains, you know what? They've got a place. We got to have that carbohydrate energy. And I mean, you know, we're just going off of, you know, first impressions here. I don't think we have anybody that's a grain processor that I'm aware of, or anybody who's familiar with grains at all. Is that necessary
for a pirate crew usually?
I don't think. Well, you know what? It could be though.
I don't think.
Probably not. However, you know what grains are also used for? Is that good? Beer? Like a pirate should? Okay. We probably already have somebody.
We probably have 3 brewers at this point. I don't remember any designation we've done, and this is not helping. By the way,
grain. They need somebody to mill the grain to process it and ferment it and so on. So. An agriculturist, another agriculturist sounds good. You know, we need
a third botanist for the crew. Folks, this is probably the reason why I don't drink hard liquor on this podcast. This is going to be a real special episode, I'll say. So welcome, whatever Eggy said for James. We've also got Peenchy, Peenchy.
Peenchy, okay, wait a second. Pressure point specialist, could be an acupuncturist, could be an assassin. Somebody that sounds like Peenchy to me. What else are you pinching for? You know, are you a old grandma that wants to say hi to her? That they know little kids on here. There definitely shouldn't be anyway. So, I'm thinking, you know, I think we do need an acupuncturist, to be honest, because I mean we go through so much. I mean, beer can only relieve so much stress. I've learned that in my life. So I think we need somebody that can stick us with a couple of needles and make us feel really good. So Peenchy the acupuncturist, welcome aboard.
James and Peenchy, welcome to the crew. We've got 2 chapters to finish up Wano, Eggy, and the big question last episode was, Eggy, who's joining the crew? What was the answer to that question?
Well, I guess, hold on.
The answer is Caribou joins the crew in Wano, and nobody else.
Well, that is true. It's, I do enjoy that he came along because, it's just more, he's the one I love to hate. I like that he
love to
overheard
love
all of the things he's not. We need, there's something about it, I think, especially with the Straw Hats and the way they want to go in their life. They need to always have sort of a constant irritation. And when you have a man whose eyes are hypnotic spirals, he's dripping all over the place, he is willing to murder his own family members for just a slight benefit to his own self. It's a great thing for him to always be in the background, learning all the information that he should never know. And he's always going to report it to some shadowy figure that we have no idea who it is, somebody that probably has something to do with the empty throne of the world.
Let's dive into that, because in this first chapter, Caribou is spying and he finds out, now he knows about the ancient weapon Poseidon and Pluton's locations. Of course, the Mermaid Princess and now Pluton here, if the walls of Wano come down. And he says, I got to let a certain someone know about it. And what's intriguing here is, at the end of the arc, Luffy leaves behind his Straw Hat flag for them to hang in Wano and say, hey, this is my Yonko territory now, just like Fishman Island was for, Whitebeard. So if somebody fucks with Wano, they're fucking with Straw Hat Luffy, and I'll have to come, banging some heads. And that leads me to think, well, if Caribou knows that Wano needs to be attacked and he's going to go tell somebody, are we going to have a return to Wano arc where Luffy has to protect it from Caribou's boss?
Well, to be honest, just to have Mr. Plant Elemental in the, was that 2 volumes ago now? It almost seems like it could have been the last one. But anyway, it's been a little bit. Whenever that man was there and his appearance and the kind of defensive measures that were needed to just combat this one single Navy Admiral strength Earth Elemental person, and I think Wano's kind of already got its own reputation to begin with, besides for this information that Caribou now has. I kind of feel like that was definitely something I was feeling. It's kind of like if you have like a power strip in your house that you've known has sparked before, and you have to leave it plugged in, but like nothing's messing with it, so it's probably not going to spark, but it's just like sitting there in the back of your head, like, should I plug that? Should I not? That's kind of how I feel about the safety of Wano. I feel like I'm Luffy, I'm out, my power strip's plugged in, and all of a sudden I'm going to hear like the power strip sparking, and people are like freaking out about it, and I got to quick go back and go full speed ahead back to Wano at some point to go check that out and make sure everything's okay. If that makes any sense.
I think that made sense to Yamato, and that's why she decides not to join the crew. And she's like, I need to stay back and protect these people. She went toe-to-toe with Kaido in a 1v1 for a long time, so she's, probably the best defense the whole island has right now. Were you disappointed that Momo, Kinemon, and Yamato, and even Tama, and even Carrot, none of them joined the crew here?
Well, once again, it's, on the cultural osmosis tip, I honestly didn't think I don't think, however long it's been, I've made a very good effort to not expose myself to any spoilers or in general, but I don't think I expected Jinbei to join, even though that was pretty well established that it was going to happen. So that's how far back I am since I exposed myself to anything new. I'm pretty well back in the mix there. But all the same, I didn't think anybody from Wano would. Probably, I thought maybe Carrot had the best chance, since Carrot's been kind of somebody that we've been pretty consistent on having in the mix. It's way back, but Carrot is now I guess a queen, a ruler of a kingdom, but that's not a king. I don't know. We're crossing different boundaries today, finding out different things. But I think that I wasn't super surprised. I thought Wano probably needed everybody that they were keeping with them, and with Carrot, the Mokomo, I guess dukedom. Okay, the king of the Mokomo dukedom
of the elephant. He's the whole elephant
Zoo.
country. Yeah.
Right. I think that.
I don't think it's earned. Didn't she get her fucking ass stomped by Pero Sparrow? You want her to be your new protector of Zoo? Because cat and dog are staying in Wano? What the fuck? This bitch in a 2v1 lost. Why are we promoting her?
Carrot, she's we get the echoes of the Egghead Island early on in the volume here of hey, we're Dogstorm, we're Cat Viper, we rule the day and night. But while we're doing that, hey, Carrot, you got this. It's shades of the gender relations on Egghead Island of certain people are doing things and certain people are kind of just like representing things. But everybody, I've been told this. Sometimes my autism disagrees because I'm so based on facts and logic all the time. But it's my understanding that it's a good thing to have somebody that's like a pleasant representative of your country or something that you do, and not just whatever the most fact and logic representative possible is. So, but I mean, and Carrot has combat abilities, has I have Lunarian in my mind now from talking about that before, but the Sulong abilities under the full moon. So, in a pinch, definitely be on some warrior abilities for sure. I mean, I guess if we're just basing this honor off of the fact that Carrot participated in a high-level battle at all, like that's the only qualifications here. I guess it's good PR, I guess, is probably what I'm going to chalk it up to. I'm not sure if that's a great way to earn it, but it's fair enough that I think Carrot is going back to Zoo, because that's where animals belong, as we all know.
I think Oda fucked up. We needed another woman on the crew, and a furry. I mean, having a furry, a hot female furry on the crew, you're going to sell so much more merchandise and all these things. Like, from a marketing and capitalistic perspective, I think it was a financial error to cast out poor Carrot.
I agree 100% in that regard. However, let's think here for a second. Was it a incredibly noble sacrifice that Oda refused to give a leeway for the furry fandom, even at his own financial suffering to do so?
It sucks that the one furry on the crew is Chopper. Like, I can't jerk off to Chopper. It's not fair. Well, and Chopper has like big Yeti mode, so like chicks who are into that can jerk off to Chopper. What do guys like us get, Eggy? On the crew, I guess we get Nami and Robin, so that's pretty fair.
I saw somebody post a Boa Hancock figurine that's like, I don't know, maybe about like 8 inches tall or something, and was built kind of like, I don't want to say chibi style. The proportions were strange though, and she has like giant, very barely covered boobs. So I guess we just get all human style. It is what it is. That's how I prefer it.
Yeah.
But
I hate Boa Hancock.
But the story continues, folks. You never know. We might have another 1,000 chapters in the chamber. Anything's possible.
I think my prediction is right. I think everybody will agree that my 3-act structure ending at 1500 is authoritative and correct. And one day everybody will say, wow, Mumkey fucking called it 8 years early. He knew. Did I mention before that based on everything we've been saying in this 105 episode podcast, that instead of 1500, Oda could end it at 1488?
I think we might have gone over this theory. I know for sure we went through the 3-act or the 3-part theory.
But like, what if he decided to do that? Like, what could the publishers do about it? What if he said 1488, the end? That's the end of the story. Not going to do another chapter. What are they going to do?
I think they will do this. I haven't seen this, but this is also something I recently heard about. There's a new Netflix One Piece series. You might have heard about this.
The One Piece?
There's a new spinoff on Netflix for One Piece.
Yeah, it's called The One Piece. To differentiate it from One Piece, it's called The One Piece.
I was talking about One Piece heroines.
Oh, it's not the Wit Studio remake? What the hell are you talking about? What's One Piece heroin? Like drugs?
I I didn't want to. I saw like a few minutes of a clip of it. I just didn't know. It seemed to be, because I think Zeus was in it, so it seemed to be like probably okay to watch. But it also seemed like it could be pretty currently based. I don't know, but
it's just the female characters hanging out.
It seemed that way, yeah. Like it's like Nami's like trying to find the right outfit for some event or something. Was like the first episode.
Typical
just
women.
The art style is a little bit different from the other properties, I feel like, or the other iterations. So I don't know, maybe we'll sit down and binge some adventures in Nami Land here sometime in the future, but I'm aware that it exists now, and it did not seem particularly captivating to me, but I'm sure it's got something, maybe.
We've got enough
in any case,
canon One Piece to dive into.
More fat fuel than a furry. Either way.
Okay, Eggy, I'm going to read through all my bullet points that I wrote 10 days ago, and
sure.
Give me your thoughts. Kinemon says his wife is just as beautiful 20 years later. Eggy, could you imagine jumping 20 years into the future and your wife/girlfriend is 20 years older? Would you still want to be, not anybody specifically, but I'm just thinking, wow, like 20, you'd be in your 50s, early 50s, you want me to keep dating you? I don't know.
Well, see, I think that definitely for most people it would be, because it's one thing to like be there together for 20 years and be like form like a really strong bond, but if you're dating for such an amount of time and then just like skip that much, I think it would be a hard sell for a lot of people. However,
Kinemon's a better man than us.
I look at Nicole Kidman at like 65 years old or whatever she is right now, and I see what she looked like 20 years ago. I'm like, hey, you know what? If it was Nicole Kidman, you know, it is still looking pretty good. So,
well, here's the thing. Kinemon's wife, literally Japanese, literally been fasting for 20 years. She's gonna look amazing. So, good for Kinemon. What a great, noble-hearted man. Still thinks she's a beautiful woman, 20 years older than. Good for him. I mean, after the way he treated her in their youth, it's the least he could do.
That is true. I think that, that's why, folks, you know what, some of these relationships, we think, it could just be a Wojak and a Pepe Frog cartoon. That's how I look at most of the world. But sometimes there is deeper elements to explore. That's what I try to do now. I finally learned by the time I was about 32 years old that every human isn't a Pepe Frog cartoon. And I started expanding my horizons. I encourage it.
The dog and cat tell Carrot, hey, being king is not about strength, and you got a bunch of world life experience when you went outside of the country with Luffy. And obviously this is setting up, okay, Luffy needs to be personal friends with the leaders of all these great nations, Alabasta, Fishman Island, Zoo, Wano, because eventually we're going to have some sort of world war and Luffy's going to need allies. And I'm wondering, hey, is this all set up in confirmation for Endgame Vivi being the queen of the entire world? Is that what this is all leading to, Eggy? Or do they do away with having rulers by the end of this story about freedom?
Well, I could see it being, you know what, actually it's very interesting that to posit this right now, because we were just talking about, okay, Carrot, she's the leader of the dukedom, really, when she's not exactly capable comparatively to the previous rulers, as far as we could tell. We're talking about Egghead Island, okay? These guys, they're doing all the work, and the women are kind of just like keeping up airs or whatever. And maybe they're not even really behaving in a particularly agreeable way, but everything's continuing to roll on regardless. Is this perhaps setting sort of an idea? Maybe we look back further. Maybe there could be something even that I'm not thinking of that indicates something like this. Maybe even back in Dressrosa. But what if in the future, Luffy, he's kind of like the freewheeling, freedom-loving man that he always wanted to be, the man who could answer to nobody, the true and honest king of the pirates. He's NEC, he's good in. Meanwhile, she is back, Vivi is back, at headquarters, wherever this might be, and she's handling some of the diplomacy or some of the boring paperwork, stuff like that. Or maybe even Fishman Island, I guess maybe not quite so much, but to have like a figurehead female and then kind of like the guys doing his thing, maybe this sort of pairing, in a sense, has been put forth to us in order for us to eventually expect this to be how the OTP Luffy and Vivi is going to be after he conquers, and she's there for the special day to take her right hand seat at the Straw Hat Kingdom throne.
And imagine Vivi's reaction when he goes Gear 3 on his cock. That's gotta feel so good. Get your pussy expanded like in the Spankwire video. Never mind. Let's cut that part out. We might have one woman listening who just fucking threw up, but... what do you think of this? They just take off without letting Kinemon or Momo know that they're leaving. And they're fucking pissed. Are they autistic, the Straw Hat Crew? How could they be so cold to their dear friends after this grand adventure they went on together?
Well, I think that autism could, certainly play a role if we wanted to really get psychotherapeutic about it. But maybe also as well, we were just talking about this a little bit, the capabilities of the leadership of Wano that maybe were concerning a bit ago. Now they're more reinforced as we get to this point. But, hey, I'm going to dip off on you. I'm going to go move forward here. We're going to be in touch, we're all on the same level now. We're doing our thing. You're a big, strong guy now. You're a big, strong protector. You know what? We'll just be in touch. It could be just as simple as, some seagull mail or something, I don't have to embrace you necessarily in a real strong way. Because this isn't, the Mont D cricket backstory. This isn't we're sailing apart, never to know each other again. We're all on the same level. Momo, you're up here with me now. We're these big dogs, and we're gonna be sitting at the table together. It's just gonna be a little bit of a hiatus while I get to where I need to go to. But
I see it as it's an interesting parallel to when they said goodbye to Vivi by not saying goodbye, and they had to have that silent goodbye, holding up the X on their hands. Also having a silent goodbye here of real friends don't need to say bye, maybe something like that. But then I think it might be almost the opposite of what you've been saying, oh, Momo, you're a man now. I think Luffy knows that's actually an 8-year-old boy, crybaby, a little coward still inside him. And he even says about as much when Momo breaks down crying to him. I think Luffy, he's okay, the people of Wano, they've only seen Momo as this brave leader so far. And if he has to say goodbye to us in front of other people, he's going to break down crying like a baby and ruin that image of the solid leader that they need. So,
right.
Let's intentionally have him meet us at the shore, and he can have his emotional breakdown there. I don't know if the text supports that, but that's a reading you could have of it.
Yeah, I think that would make sense, as it were.
And Luffy even calls him a baby. I knew you would do this, you fucking crybaby.
Yeah, because that probably wouldn't be so good to have all your new people that have been waiting 20 years for this prophecy to be fulfilled and watching you age 20 years in 1 second, for you just immediately to still be exhibiting behaviors of an 8-year-old. They'd probably be Boy King kind of looking at you out of the side of their eye a little bit oh shit, Momo's got to do it. Ooh, well, okay, well, let's all hunker down real quick, So I think Luffy, I think that makes sense. Because you want to start all this on the right foot. You just had it in the worst possible position for 20 years. Finally, there's a bright new tomorrow. Let's make a good first impression on the population that you have to represent now moving forward. I think that makes sense.
And when they said goodbye to Shirahoshi, did he also call her a fucking sniveling crybaby at that time too? He can't resist just being mean to these children as he says goodbye to them. Whatever.
Hey, tough love. I mean, in the world that we're living in with Mr. Teach and his ability to just eat you, and we get a little bit of taste of that here moving on in the volume as we go. There's a lot of hectic things going on, a lot of potential horrible monstrosities that the average citizen can't possibly comprehend. So maybe their leader needs a little tough love to kind of, make sure he's got the right kind of thick skin that's going to be necessary for everything that's going on.
Let's transition to the Cross Guild, Eggy, because we got Buggy, Mihawk, and Crocodile putting bounties on the Marines. And I would like to say, let's start a Cross Guild in real life. I got a lot of politicians I'd love to put a bounty on, if anybody wants to deliver.
That's why see people that think I'm kidding. I'll make these tweets and I'm like, oh, I love going. You know, the City Hall tweet. I've been tweeting about City Hall for like.
You should not
3
say
different
people
cities.
think I'm kidding after what I said.
No, I mean I'm just saying. Everything's very all the results of what I mentioned. You know, gorilla gluing people's doors shut, flushing cement down the toilets. All of these are very reasonable, democratic, peaceful protests that all of our favorite politicians believe in, and the ones we
How
don't
do you
like,
get
they
the
don't believe
cement
in.
bag into the courthouse bathroom?
Well, you see, you do have to buy a larger bag to start. If you get investigated, this could be a problem. Make sure that, and the dust can be a problem.
Uh-huh.
So I would say, like, you know, get yourself like a big trash can, like a big like round trash can for you to set the first bag of cement in, like the like kind of the seed cement, if you will. And then you just want to take a little bit in like a little paper, because you don't want it to. You want it to not be like any kind of fabric bag or anything. You want to try to get this, so you can use like a little envelope. Even it doesn't take much, and you just get into your restroom protest of choice, and all you got to do is really just dump it down. I think you got this one kind, the regular kind. I think takes like up to 2 days to form a blockage, but then they got this stuff called like quick dry. It's like under 60 minutes. So depending on which location you're at that you want to protest at, you can kind of calculate that as you go.
Eggy, can we set up
gloves are good.
like a lemonade stand-esque stand outside the courthouse and just sell bags of concrete or whatever, cement? It's like
we
just
have,
completely unrelated.
I'll just say this has been something I've complained about before. If people follow me on social media, I think they know about that, because there's no free parking at City Hall. None. You do not get to. You have to park like blocks away and walk over there. Every single parking spot, it's either handicapped or it is metered. So I thought that was pretty representative of what our government thinks of us and how much they care what we have to say. They want to literally make us pay just to walk inside to probably pay something else.
Eggy, I think we could both get a handicap sign with one mental test. They'll know that we're handicapped in a way.
Well, I do have a family member who was, I guess, has been putting off getting one. They had a diabetic amputation, and they just not too much. It's just part of a foot, but I guess they've been qualifying for one of these handicap signs, just haven't been using it. So I'm thinking,
just take it.
There's free handicap. I'm probably going to get that as soon as possible. I only just started looking into it like within the last week because it came to my attention. And I'm like, I mean, the thing about it is that I'll park in a handicap spot regardless. It just depends on how long you're going to be in there.
I don't want to get a $100 ticket. It's not worth it.
I feel like you got at least like 45 minutes before they're going to do something. So, yeah, I did get. I think I only got ticketed one time, and I haven't paid it, so it's like quadrupled in price. But it's only like, but it wasn't handicapped though. It was just downtown, so it was like $20.
Yeah,
I don't think I don't know what they can do to me if they try to make me pay it. I feel like I've already paid enough having to park at City Hall to flush cement down the toilet. So I think they've gotten their fair share. But yeah, so yes, the cross guild on politicians. But this is like a democratic vote-based style and not violent, of course. Yeah, I'm definitely for that. In fact, actually, well, I don't know if you know this. One of our representatives, his name is Zach Nunn. And there's a possibility I kept him from coming to Iowa State University by my own social media behavior.
What'd you do?
Because he was coming with J.D. Vance back in April, and this was right after he put forward this amnesty legislation. He said that what, we're all living here together. It is what it is. Let's just make everybody in the entire country, no matter what, a citizen right now. And J.D. Vance was like, oh yeah, sure. And they were going to come to, they have these reputations for being a little bit chudly, but I don't know if that was really the case. They were coming to speak at the Iowa State University, and I was kind of indicating that I was going to go there and be a nuisance. And then all of a sudden, like a day or two before they were showing up, all of a sudden it was canceled for suspicious and unknown reasons. So I don't know. I don't want to toot my own horn as somebody that's more than just a complete lunatic that is largely written off by the majority of society, but at the end of the day, I mean, it would have been some real keno. I probably would have, like taped my phone to my chest and IRL streamed it or something. That would be fun, but
I would love to give you the credit, Eggy, and you probably deserve it, but I can also see the vast majority of ISU students telling their faculty and staff, we don't want fucking JD couch fucker Vance at our school. We hate him and we will kill him. Like, this is like the one blue bubble in the state. You don't want to come to Ames, specifically. There's a reason why Trump went to Simpson College, where I was, and I got to see him long ago when I was in college. Both Bernie and Trump came to my school, Eggy, and I got to shake hands. Well, I shook hands with Bernie. I didn't want to wait in line for Trump, to be honest, but if I knew he was going to be president one day, would have waited in line and got a selfie. Biggest regret of my life.
And I have that somewhere on one of my old hard drives, like blurry and probably.
What, you and Trump?
Yeah, because the girl who I was dating at the time, we showed up. This was back when I was working 2 jobs and I had no sleep and I was like passing out while we were driving. But we got there and she was crazy. So she like literally like bulldozed through like 100 boomers and like forced herself in like as the doors were closing with me alongside her. So it was him and Sarah Palin, they had a bunch of like teenage boys that were up there, like they were like the Trump Scouts or something. I largely don't remember it because it sounded good. But I also like had her on my shoulders like for it, and I mean, I've never been the most strongest guy. I might look like it sometimes, but carrying somebody on your shoulders that's a human being on full size, one at that, I'm not crazy about it. So
she was an Eggy-sized woman that you had on top of your back.
She was 5'2", so she might have put on a little weight by this point. We broke up like a few months after this, but it is what it is. It was energetic. We still believed what was being said at the time, so it was a good time. But anyway, retrospective, cross guild, that's right.
And I'm hoping Oda is setting up an amazing joke here, but we have Trafalgar D. Law. He seems a little impressed by Buggy looking at this. And Luffy's like, what are you talking about? He's a fucking idiot. Like, you shouldn't be impressed with him. He's a moron. But Law, he's still impressed. And if you think about it, if you think about what Law's power can do, Buggy the Clown is literally the hard counter because he has his body parts flying all around and controls them regardless. So I would like to think that one day, like, Law, not knowing Buggy's power, would like use his power to separate him and then like be shocked and like really impressed by Buggy's ability to counter it. So I feel like that's what's being set up here, because why else do we have Law being impressed with Buggy, if not for their powers, then setting something up?
Yeah, I think that makes sense because Buggy's idiocy kind of precedes itself, but at the same time we're getting this read here like, oh, well, don't you know he was on the Gold Roger's crew, and he was a warlord of the sea. I mean, yeah, I guess this all kind of makes sense, and it's literally just his the most mentally deficient looking henchman, like his fucking like orc head is like coming out of his chest. He's got like lobotomy scars and like love hearts coming out. Like, hey, I'll put you in the top, Buggy. And he's like, what? So
he's like 3 panels in a row. His eyes are like, just completely horrified that his crew is getting him massacred by the 2 strong guys. I love this dynamic between these 3 former Luffy enemies, I suppose. I mean, I guess he tried to attack Mihawk.
I guess I did say about how they said, oh, he's was on the Gold Roger crew, but I also enjoy the contrast here because they're reading it off and saying he commands so much respect that Crocodile even rushed to his aid when we see that Crocodile's like, hey, wait, isn't that Buggy who owes me all that money?
Yeah,
fucking thief.
He's a loan shark. And Buggy, I mean, this is the most failing upward I've ever seen. Like, he gets saved because he owes a guy money. His crew makes a poster that makes him look like a Yonko, and then he becomes a Yonko. Buggy, he went from shooting up a fucking Mayor Boodle's orange town for fucking pennies on the dollar, became a warlord. Now he's a Yonko. Obviously, he's going to be Pirate King one day, right, Eggy?
I mean, because I like the theory that I was talking about a little bit ago, where we have Luffy being kind of like the free agent, while Vivi is the queen and kind of like is taking care of everything. But I feel like Buggy he's just lucked out so many times, and we had somebody a couple volumes ago say, I think I've used like a lifetime worth of luck in this one. And then that man went on to be perfectly healthy and totally in a perfect, comfortable situation. So maybe the luck well runs deeper than we know. And you know what else they got? You might have heard about this. I think it's called Jester's Privilege. You ever heard of that?
Sure, yeah. The court jester can talk shit to the king.
Exactly. So, hey, there we go. Maybe, Buggy could find himself in a I don't know, because I don't know if he deserves it necessarily. He's kind of a jerk, but at the end of the day, it's not my place to decide. He's been able to have this failing upward consistently since like the beginning.
Yeah,
so,
I think it is rough that Buggy's introduced murdering one of his crewmates because he misheard him talk about his red nose. Like, he blows him up with a cannon. And I feel like, do we really need... Like, I like Buggy, but I don't like that he murdered his Nakama for nothing. Like, that's rough, but I guess he was in the darkest depression pit of his life at that point.
That's why he deserved all this failing upward, because he had a bad mood. He made a poor call of judgment. He got whooped by Luffy. He got taken away to Impel Down, and now he's been able to kind of start swinging up, and maybe it taught him something. And they say when you get locked up that it just makes you learn how to do crime even better. So maybe it's something along those lines of he was really had his back to the wall, his feet to the fire, and he just activated some kind of latent Jester's privilege that has now led him to become the leader of the Cross Guild.
Yeah, he has like universal Jester's privilege, you're saying. Like the concept of karma and nature itself is like giving him a free run.
Well, we talk about the awakening of devil fruits, and it seems to be under duress, right? That's kind of when these things are happening. So if we are to place maybe his seeming swing upwards starting to transpire around the Impel Down and Paramount War arcs, or I guess they call them different arcs. In that time frame, I mean, he was definitely feet to the fire, like last chance romance, like I always like to say. So maybe that was something in him that activated something. Maybe he might have been our first awakened devil fruit user that we didn't even realize he had it, but maybe there's some larger picture here that involves it.
I hope we see Buggy awaken his fruit one day if he hasn't already. Hey, we also get the key to the final road poneglyph. All three of these guys now, they're sharing the three road poneglyph rubbings that they have, and they say, hey, the last one is probably with the man with the burn scar. Law has a panel where he looks kind of haunted about it, like he knows more than we do. Kid is laughing about it, and Luffy, he's in the dark. Maybe even Robin had like a little panel of like, So, any inklings, who's this burn scar man with the final road poneglyph?
Well, Zombie Ace. He got burned through his body and he's reanimated in some type of way, shape, or form. No, who's been subjected to a burning that we could think of? I'm not even sure if I would have a first inclination, to be honest.
I remember theories were like, oh, this must be about Dragon, Luffy's dad, because all those tattoos on his face, maybe those are burns. Like, those are like tribal tattoos, dude. Those aren't fucking burns.
Has who's the doctor back at Reverse Mountain again? That maybe he's like secretly got like a burn on his back this whole time, and he's like been holding information.
I wish the name would have jumped to me, but it did not. Maybe I could blame the Bacardi on that one.
Crocus.
That's Crocus.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be something that is probably contrived and stupid, and Oda wouldn't do that. But I think it would be kind of fun, to do a little back tracing maybe. As sort of like a, because we wouldn't have even known what our first poneglyph was, Skypiea, right? So, I mean, we were out there, we were doing our thing, we were, past Log Town or whatever, so
we saw some in Alabasta.
Oh, right.
But not the special 4 road poneglyphs that lead to the One Piece. And if you think, somebody who has access to this, I mean, only one pirate crew has made it to Laugh Tale before. So maybe it's somebody who was on Roger's crew, because they would have had to find these 4 poneglyphs 20 years ago, right?
Maybe this whole time, maybe Buggy's clown knows. Maybe that was like a horrible reaction to a burn.
Oh my god. That's why Law was so haunted. He's like, I have to go up against the great Buggy the Clown to get this.
It was mangled, he probably lost his sense of smell or whatever, and maybe he had some kind of doctor just to sort of fashion it in that way. And maybe he did something really terrible that maybe he was involved in the fire, and so they're like, oh boy, you have done this horrible thing. Now you must be branded as a clown for your foolishness.
Speaking of burning due to doing horrible things, the end of the Wano arc is all the kids who were being taught the wrong history lessons. Oh, the Kozuki's evil. They were born to boil. Now they're being given a different kind of propaganda, say, God, the evil Kurozumi, the black coal man. He was born to burn. Yes, children, celebrate the burning of our political enemy. And people in the real world, they were perturbed by this Eggy. Like, oh, what a dark lesson and theme for this arc. Like, the kids are still just being... what do you think? Is it okay to say Orochi was born to burn to death, even though his upbringing was like our society was shunning him and ostracizing him based on the sins of his family and not him? It's like we kind of crafted this Joker-esque figure who had no choice but to go evil and strike back against society, but now we're celebrating his vicious death. Like, is this all really fair for Orochi?
Well, I think the people who are taking this in a negative light and like, oh, this is so bad, they need to read into their tribal history, because, we get all this, a lot of us are, First Nations or Western nations or whatever you want to say. We get a certain type of history that's, George Washington and Benjamin Franklin were dancing around with jump ropes and, and la-di-da and sipping tea or whatever. They're not getting, if we compare that to some more, I guess tribalistic is what I want to say, because we are talking about, the heads of families here, a clan base. I think that's about as tribalistic as you probably would get a reading on these days, if there's anything like this out there even still. But I mean, to have the burning to the crisp and then the conclusion of that being, Kaido plummeting into the lava and then the storm clouds clearing away. It's kind of a common sort of message, I feel like. A lot of you'll get, and coming from a background where I've got Native American family and everything like that, and some of these different tribes, you'll have these mythological tales, and typically it's going to be something like, back in the day there was a horrible, awful evilness that plagued the land, but then the spirits, Shukodua or whatever name, came through and cleansed it with the mighty enchanted arrows and struck him through the heart, and that's why when you have fire or when something burns, that's why you have the ash that remains. These are the slivers of evil that have been purified, and now it will enrich the earth to grow great plants again. Like that's how they would describe doing a controlled burning to replenish the soil with nutrients. So it seems to me it's pretty par for the course. It's kind of a violent mythology. I mean, that's just how it goes, and it's not always going to be Hercules dancing with all of his beautiful black queens to the opera songs in a Disney cartoon. Sometimes it's going to be your enemies burned alive and their ashes are scattered to the wind, and that wind also then blows all the darkness away from the sun, and it's a beautiful new day, and let's all be happy.
Yeah, and I mean, surely this is reflective of how the real world works, right? Like, when we were children in school, we were taught to like cheer and clap and celebrate at the thought of Nazis being brutally killed because they were so evil. It's like, yeah, forget about the humanity of them. They were our enemy. They did bad things. Who cares why they did them? Just know we should celebrate their death. And if anybody in the modern day even has a spark of what they were going for, you should kill them too, because they were born to burn.
I mean, it is, there's definitely colors of that for sure. I mean, it's just, it's...
Odish reflected real world politics and thoughts, and you were also disgusted because you refused to see the world for what it is. Once again,
And I'm
One
sure by
Piece
the
is too
time-
good.
I'm sure by the time this was published, there was at least like one 8-year-old who had like his scholarship for college canceled because he said like a bad word on a Snapchat story, like not even knowing what he was doing. So
He's born to burn.
you know,
Kill him. Orochi had it coming, folks. If you enslave a nation for 20 years, you're born to burn. Fucking burn him at the stake.
And we definitely have to give some leeway to like these children were literally just being tortured like yesterday. So I mean, you know, they ain't gonna. They're gonna be the ones that are, you know, going at like burning the Orochi effigies for the next like 100 years until they die, and they're gonna make sure all their children are also like cursing his name every single day.
Yeah, it's natural. And to round up the or round off the arc, in the SBS, Otis says, "Oh yeah, Chopper. He's not good enough of a doctor to cure the smile fruit yet, so they're just gonna have to live with it. It is what it is. It's more brutal, real world reality creeping into my cartoon."
And just like some great doctors once said, listen, if you're just showing such a great, beautiful smile and such happiness, why would we want to take that away from you, even if it's masking your actual true eternal suffering? It's called Zoloft, and you know what? I'm selling for a lot of money.
Yeah, smile fruits are antidepressants. Oh my fucking god. Now at least they get to smile and laugh. When I was on those, I didn't feel anything, Eggy. At least they get emotions.
Well, you know, not super relevant here, but I got prescribed one for one day. They didn't know that I had bipolar. They thought I was just depressed. So if you take a Zoloft or whatever it was, it might have been Prozac actually, come to think of it. You take a Prozac when you have bipolar, it makes it so you're only on like the most hyper, most ultra manic setting. And I don't think to this day, this is like 16, 17 years ago, I don't think I've ever had an energetic day like that in my life. I've literally taken like mystery doses of Adderall from like complete strangers that might have just been meth entirely, and I still wasn't that tweaked as with that day that I took a Prozac. So
wow,
you know,
let's get Eggy more Prozac, folks. Straight to the PO box. Eggy, it's time to put Wano on our tier list, and we said Act 1 and 2 of Wano would both be at the top of B tier, and now it's time to see if Act 3 was good enough to raise the entire Wano arc even higher. And I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to let Eggy go first.
Well, gosh, you know, it's tough. It's tough here because I have right now the top of my S is Dressrosa. I love everything about Dressrosa. I love the toys. I love a good arena combat. But gosh, you know, like I feel like
Eggy,
Wano.
Cousin Joey is calling right now. Should I answer?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Cousin Joey, you're on speakerphone on the One Piece podcast.
Oh man, I was freakazoid. Any other day I would be ready and in charge, throw out some stuff that makes sense, but I was just actually calling to check on Simmy and Jimmy, see if he was available for the evening for a session, but you are doing a session.
Hey, in 2 hours when I'm done with this podcast, I'll come over and hang out. But I got a question for you. Who wins in a fight, Luffy or Zoro?
Goofy or Zoro?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Goofy's got quite the reach.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
So I'm gonna have to go with Goofy.
I agree.
And you can't, and a guy that's got nothing really up there. How do you knock him out?
Exactly.
It's
Goofy Luffy. Okay, I'll call you in a little bit. Okay. Goofy beats Zoro because he's got the reach. He knows what's up.
You heard what he said. He said he don't got nothing going on up there, which, you know, Luffy, he does really go for his instinct. He doesn't really tactic it out too much.
That's how he beat
Mr.
Mr. 3 was instinct. And then they changed it in the live action. They were ashamed.
That's right. But, okay, so... man, we got dragons, we got time travel, we got people boiling alive, we got hot babes, we got flying islands being blown, we got people getting blasted through these flying islands into lava to death.
I think is it true for the first time since Eni's Lobby, every single Straw Hat gets like a fight? If you count what Usopp and Nami were up to with Ulti and Page 1, which I do. Yeah.
I mean, it was very intense. You didn't know what was going to happen.
It was good shit.
I mean, as I recall, did not Usopp sustain another complete destruction of his skull again?
Yeah,
So I mean, that's
he went brain dead retard. Yeah, 3 headbutts.
I mean, I think, to be honest, considering every component of it, the action, and I mean, really just, I'm not even necessarily trying to weight the fall of 2 Yonko so aggressively as I could, really. I feel like just everything together, it's by far and away, like, absolutely the top. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you just have so much going on. There's a lot that I appreciate about everything that I have in S tier, but the fact of the matter, however, is I have to keep it real. I mean, there's just so much here, and like I said, even I like to score things in a weird way sometimes. I go for my personal sensibilities, maybe sometimes above the mainstream, but even in that way, I think it's just, there's no contest for me. Top peakest of the peak of peak.
I respect it completely. If it was just Wano Act 3, I probably would also have it as the number 1 arc. I mean, you've got the whole Odin flashback in there. You've got the Gear 5 reveal and the funniest fight, you know, Gear 5 versus Kaido. We got moments of all hope is lost, Luffy's dead, and Nami's like, fuck you, Kaido, bring it on, motherfucker. And that moment has me especially hyped for volume 116 of One Piece. Spoiler alert, but if it was just Act 3, I'd agree. But if I'm basing this on, you know, which arcs do I want to sit down and reread right now? And currently, much like you, I have Dressrosa at number 1, and then I have Impel Down, a personal favorite. Then I have Enies Lobby. Then I have Whole Cake Island. Those are the top 4. I think Wano as a whole, all 3 arcs, slips into 4th place, below Enies Lobby and above Whole Cake Island, because Enies Lobby, it's shorter. It's just all the action. You get all the Straw Hats shining and having great moments. The emotional punch of Robin wanting to live and all that. And Wano, just, it's a little too long. It's got a lot of stuff I don't want in there. I don't feel comfortable putting it any higher than the 4th best arc. It's on my Mount Rushmore.
I think those are very fair points. Yeah, I'm definitely approaching this in the virgin manner, as I do with everything in life. Yeah, so I definitely get where you're coming from on the reread tip for sure. You know, I could, an Enies Lobby a day would have me starting my cross guild probably tomorrow. Maybe I still will. But yeah, I think I'll stick to my guns here, just
as
because
you should.
The weight of it, even with the, you know, there's parts of part 1 I like, parts of part 2 that are a drag, but I think I'm gonna wrap it up in that whole package. Keep it where it's at.
I respect it so much, Eggy. Wano number 1. And we'll see if Oda can ever defeat it. Will Egghead Island be the new number 1? Yet to be seen, but we're jumping right into it.
That's right.
What do you think of Yonko Luffy? Is epic reveal to us after the Void month waiting for a new chapter is brutally covered in goosebumps in a cage, cut cage, as Nami is screaming at him. She's so pissed that they fell off the Wano waterfall. Bitch, you fell out of Sky Island. Who gives a fuck? Like, remember when he jumped off of the elephant and grabbed everybody? That was way scarier than this shit. But I guess she's mad that she got baited by Law and Kid into doing something stupid when they left.
That's true. You got to put the pride to the side, folks. You got to put the pride to the side, because otherwise you're going to end up with your captain caged up and beaten, and nobody wants that. That's, you know...
And Nami is in such a rage that Jinbei legitimately sees Conqueror's hockey flowing out of her. And I just want to say, people, vast majority of people, Eggy, are seeing this as a gag, just a one-off joke. I've never seen Jinbei act like this. He's not a gag character. And his eyes are poking out of his head. He's legitimately scared of what he's seeing from Nami. I say, for a fact, Nami has Conqueror's hockey. Fucking Sanji's gonna have it. I think Usopp's gonna have it. I wouldn't be surprised if the entire fucking crew ends up with it. But this is not a joke to me. This is confirmation Nami is going to unlock proper Conqueror's hockey, because Jinbei just saw her do it.
Right, and if we want to have her power scaling in a way that makes sense moving forward in the future, she's got her utility, as we all know, but I think that having her hockey matching, like a power scale that is relative to everybody else that makes sense, I think is going to be expected. And I think that's the best way here for her character to develop alongside further utilities coming with her and Zeus moving forward. So yeah, I think it makes sense to me. But Chopper, with his 900 berry bounty increase to 1,000 total, that probably the average like venomous snake under a rock somewhere is probably 10 times that.
Hey, think about this though. Chopper gets a times 10 escalation. Luffy himself was only times 3 from half a bill to 1.5. Chopper got the most bounty growth of anybody. Exponentially.
Okay, I'll give that. Yeah, okay.
If my subscriber base went up times 10, Eggy, that's life changing.
Okay, that's fair.
Now, if I start off with 10 subs, it's not that big of a deal. But
hey, you know what? When I made the Black Pill video, that's what it was. I went from like 20 subs to 200, and that's one of those 200 people was there to save it as I was going on a raging Spurg spree and deleting my entire channel out of rage. So
we've all been there.
You never know.
I imagine you have these bounties pulled up in front of you. Anything else that is percolating your interest here?
Well, I did enjoy that. Nami's reaction to her bounty is that she wants to collect on herself. I think that would be a smart idea for her. We've seen her.
I don't know if that's
how
it works.
Well, yeah.
How would she do that? Like Mr. 2, turn into me, please.
Well, I mean, have get somebody that maybe her sister or somebody could turn her in. Oh yeah, she tried to come visit, but I saw she was bad now, so. I doubt they would believe it, but you never know, and then she's very good at getting out of sticky situations. So
they just have stealth Black Sanji break you out of Impel Down, I guess. I don't know.
Mm.
I like that Sanji's getting cucked because he was number 2 highest bounty after Whole Cake, and now he's 4th place below Jinbei. Is Jinbei the new monster trio? Sanji has been demoted.
I feel like I don't think so, because Jinbei, he's kind of got he's got that legacy, so he's definitely here. He's definitely got all of his same power and everything like that. But listen, he ain't got it out the mud like Sanji and Zoro. He wasn't there, okay? He wasn't there when Usopp got kicked off and he was walking around sad. He wasn't there back on the Barati itself. He wasn't there when Luffy figured out using Reddit science on how to destroy Don Krieg's armor in a single punch in the right proper pressure application way. He wasn't there.
But he was mentioned shortly after. For the first time.
That's fair.
I like that Robin is nearly worth $1 billion now, 930 million. Yeah, I mean, it never made sense that she was so low to begin with, considering like she can read these poneglyphs. The government should want her desperately. Like it should have been $1 billion from childhood, but whatever. Usopp once again copying Luffy's former bounty. If I recall, all of Usopp's bounties have been ones that Luffy had before, right? And now he's at the 500, the $500 million that Luffy just had a day ago.
Was he at 100 million after Dressrosa then?
At some point that he was, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, I can recall the the special poster that gave him, after the whole
5 stars and Dressrosa
conclusion. Yeah.
But yeah, I think every bounty he's had was one that Luffy used to have, which begs the question: will Usopp have a 1.5 billion bounty in the future?
I think he pulls another Impel Down type of, another Enies Lobby kind of move, especially right now. His new lines are being drawn. Maybe I don't know, because
he'd have to do something big. He'd have to really piss off Emu himself.
Yeah, maybe maybe he'll have a cross-guild crossover, and he hits somebody in the neck that's really important, and it really sets off a lot of alarms. And he's got that slingshot.
He's gonna snipe Charlie Kirk in the neck. Eggy, is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, what if Kaku's there? What if Kaku's the new top government agent? I mean, we got. Hey,
Give Charlie Kirk the draft fruit so he's a big target.
Cypher Pole is back in the mix. Okay, we've been seeing them. They could, it's anything's possible. Okay, I'm just trying to think of what's very provocative, whether that might, trigger a lot of reactions that would give him such a stark increase, both raw and proportionally, to keep him, on that same track. But
yeah, we get Cypher Pole in this volume talking about Vegapunk to give us the exposition on him, right?
Yes, I'm fairly certain that's
Who
correct.
all was there? It was like Lucci, Kaku, we got Akuma, Seraphim. We haven't even mentioned Seraphim an hour and 20 minutes into this, but we'll get to that. And what was a girl there with them too, Eggy? I don't mean to spoil. Was Stussy there? The chick from Big Mom's wedding party? Was she there?
I'm trying to think because I'm fairly certain that we do have some people from Whole Cake Island that are some of Big Mom's people that are both in the cover story for one, but also I believe are. I might need to.
Yeah, we might need to find that panel. I don't remember
with
myself.
Yeah.
Eggy, what about this? We need to dive into this. Man, I know we had so much we need to get into. We're 3 chapters in to this volume, Eggy. Isn't that crazy? Okay, we went through the bounties. Go ahead.
Well, I'll say if you want to have any kind of restroom break at any point, you just let me know.
Yeah, let's go for it right now then. Good call.
Some real Kino just dropped.
What's that? What dropped?
I don't much follow the gambling channels anymore, but this one guy that still, for some reason, was in my push notifications. He said, the deception will stop now, and I'm guessing it's about the people that play with fake money or whatever.
That's real Kino dropping in your world, Eggy?
Well, it shouldn't be, don't get me wrong, but it's... Because a lot of these people are bad people. They are lying to you and saying you're going to win when you never will, and they're trying to scam gullible people. So he pulls all the receipts because he actually loses $100,000 a year gambling. He wins a lot, but because of his YouTube channel, he does meet and greets at hotels or whatever, and earns it all back. So
the only gambler I would follow at this point is Steve Will Do It, because he proudly loses millions every video and doesn't care.
The Wolf Pit, he's got this new soup video out, but he was leaving us high and dry for a couple weeks there. It is what it is.
Hey, speaking of bounties, Eggy, we get the Cross Guild bounties. Crocodile, nearly 2 billion. Buggy, higher than Luffy, which I guess Luffy's not 1.5 anymore. He's 3, of course, so I guess Usopp's got a ways to go before he gets to 3, but Buggy is higher than Luffy, 3.189. I'm sure in Japanese these numbers have some hilarious puns of some kind we could look up, 189 means epic clown, or who knows, I imagine. And then Mihawk, 3.59 billion. Not even the leader of Cross Guild, but the highest bounty as the world's strongest swordsman. And we get the quote, greatest sword skill, or greater sword skill than even red hair Shanks. And there's this great debate, who would win in a fight, Mihawk or Shanks? And, this evidence here is saying he has greater sword skill, not greater hockey, greater strength, sword skill. And Shanks, he's missing a fucking arm, so I would certainly hope the 2-armed man has better sword skill at this point. But I'm still giving the fight to Shanks, to be honest, because I think Luffy's mentor logically needs to be stronger than Zoro's mentor, because I'm reading a story where Luffy is stronger than Zoro. Just saying, folks.
That's true, unless this fight is going to be within the last 100 chapters eventually. But I think I could see an argument, perhaps, which probably has no basis considering his power level and considering his bounty, but probably I could say, okay, maybe Shanks has had to work his hockey a little bit harder to kind of compensate for his lack of an arm. Maybe it's like
And in last volume, we saw Shanks use from 5 miles away Wi-Fi hockey to scare an admiral away. Somebody hypothetically as strong as the man who killed Ace was terrified of Wi-Fi hockey and ran away. Just saying, folks.
And I don't know, maybe it's something like, you I can't contemplate why I think this has any basis, because I know it doesn't, but just like the idea maybe the shark like ate his arm, and like all the rest of the power that would have gone into that arm has to like recirculate through the remaining amount of body. I don't think there's any basis for that, but hey.
No, sure there is. Like when like if you go blind, then like all your other senses heighten to make up for it,
Like Daredevil?
Yeah, exactly. That's literally a thing. That's why I'm gonna go blind and deaf on purpose, so that hand jobs feel extra good. My sense of feel goes way up.
We've all said that before.
You go blind and your foreskin grows back. You get some sensitivity back.
Well, you know what? I haven't gone to the doctor yet to get my to get glasses, so anything's possible.
I hope you get glasses on your fucking road trip, Eggy, or you're not coming back. Be careful on those roads, Eggy. I love this. We're introduced to Yonko Luffy in a cut cage, and then we're introduced to Yonko Buggy also being humiliated and cucked by his crew. Like Croc is saying he's gonna sell Buggy into slavery and shit.
I mean, it's kind of like perhaps is there like a parallel is maybe not the right word, because we have Buggy who is. He's pretty much a fraud. I mean, It is what it is. And so his crew is determined to be disrespectful and like apply pressure to him because he is not who he appears to be. He's really to serve them. Luffy's getting it because he is just so, he's such a decision maker. He's such a, somebody who's going to just immediately go with instinct, regardless of whether if it's what his crew thinks is safe or proper or not. And so he puts his the weight of his choice so much more above his crew, than that's what they punish him for. So it's kind of like maybe it's showing a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation for anybody who happens to be a leader. You can never make everybody happy.
And the strategic decision from Mihawk and Crocodile to let Buggy be the figurehead and to rule from the shadows, that just makes more sense to me. Why have everybody coming after you?
Yeah, I think they might even say as much, to be honest.
Yeah, they do. And then in the SBS of this, we find out that some famous comic strips in the world of One Piece include Sora, Warrior of the Sea, Pokaimon, or Pokaimon, and a Monkey Ball, which I imagine is Dragon Ball.
I do see in that SBS there appears to be some kind of monkey that's riding on a Nimbus cloud, wielding a two-handed battle axe.
Huh.
So maybe it's even better than Dragon Ball, because I think there's one thing a Dragon Ball is a franchise is missing. It's two-handed battle axes.
Well, now that Nami has essentially a power pole and a cloud she can ride around on, and her original artwork was her with like a metal arm like Alphonse Elric, or I mean Edward Elric, of course, not Alphonse, and she's holding an axe like that in her original artwork with the metal arm. We've talked about this before. Is Nami gonna end up being the Goku of One Piece?
Well, she's very determined. The greed aspect is not quite a match there, but if you wanted to, replace power level with money, she's all about doing whatever it takes to get the highest amount. So, maybe she's gonna go to she's gonna get a hyperbolic fruit chamber to like grow all her trees and like get the extra fruit. So,
could be.
I think Frankie could probably make that work for her. Time travel's proven now, so you might as well.
I would not be shocked if Nami is losing an arm and Frankie has to cyborgize her a little bit, especially if that was Oda's original plan for the character. I think it fits. We'll see in 12 volumes, thereabouts. Eggy, what do you think of this?
Well,
what do you think of me? I'm going to schedule the next year of your life. You tell me if you disagree. Including this volume, we would have 12 weeks in a row, catching up to One Piece. Okay, that's 3 months. Then I was hoping you, me, and Biggs could read my book, The Triflers, and spend 6 weeks on that. Okay. Then from there, people want us to do JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and that's broken up into a lot of parts. And parts 1 and 2 happen to equal out to 12 volumes. So that's one direction we could go after my book is, 12 volumes of JoJo. Or, interestingly, Eggy, Death Note is also 12 volumes for the entire story, Eggy. Do you want to spend 3 months reading Death Note? Because I really do.
I would much rather Death Note than JoJo. It is what it is.
Yeah, me too! Me too! But don't let them hear you say that! They're gonna be pissed!
Listen, these are 2 other properties that I'm not super familiar with. I think I might have played the JoJo video game a little bit at one point, but not super familiar with, and I've only just cultural osmosed them. So it could be a virgin podcast for those too, but conceptually speaking, I don't have anything against JoJo. It just it seems a bit if I had to choose, I feel like Death Note is going to be more substantial, perhaps.
Yes.
And just the way that it's been presented to me by different people, I feel like JoJo is something that is it's very stylistic, and that's what I get a lot more of. I don't get people necessarily commenting on big, like, heartfelt moments, and I'm sure there's plenty, but I typically hear about it just being discussed stylistically, and that's fine. But I just I'd rather take a very heartfelt stick figure comic over, Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. That's all beautiful and stuff. But, I pick things up and I get a feel for them, I guess. And so something that's got more of that, something more with more personality. I guess personality is not right. JoJo seems to have a lot of that. Yeah. Something that has that I can connect to, maybe in a series about killing people by writing their names down, seems like something I really would have an affinity for, even in my middle age, to be honest. So,
not that I'm a JoJo expert, I actually don't know shit, but I would imagine the theory crafting and that sort of virgin podcasting that we enjoy, Death Note would be more the route to go than JoJo. But the future's long. It's a long road. Maybe after Death Note, we'll give JoJo Part 1 and 2 a try. And, good thing about being in parts is that if we get sick of it, we can just go do something else for a little bit. So I'd say, hey, folks, come this December, maybe January, Death Note Virgin podcast, potentially with Biggs joining us as well. Who could say? But he's going to be pissed that we're not doing JoJo. But I really don't want to do it, so...
You know what? Double the podcast for you, right? The JoJo version with Biggs and the Death Note version with...
No. I honestly don't care about JoJo. I watched a bunch of the anime and I was not impressed. I didn't care.
You know what I like that's called JoJo? They have these, I can't remember what restaurant this is. They have giant fried potato sticks. They're like potato wedges, but way too long and way too much potato in them, and it's not a good balance. They call them JoJo's. Actually, no, it's up north Wisconsin they got them. I don't know if that's something that other parts of the country have. If you live in somewhere that's not the Wisconsin Northwoods, and you've ever had a JoJo that's a very overly large piece of fried potato, sound off in the comments section below.
Is that a reference to JoJo Siwa being too tall for a woman?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
maybe it's one place. It's called the Corner Bar in Cumberland, Wisconsin. They have them. That's another place I think I've eaten them at. So maybe just a guy named Joe owns it or something. They could just be potato wedges, but they make them too big. So I much prefer their fried broccoli, deep fried broccoli with cheese. That's most definitely what's up. If you happen to stop by there, tell them that Eggy sent you. They'll not know what you're talking about, but somebody might.
They'll probably ask you to leave if you mention Eggy.
Hey, that's one bar I haven't got kicked out of in that town, so I got to go for something maybe.
We got to go to all the bars that King Cobra got banned from one of these days. Hey, Eggy, we were promised, world government, we're going to end the warlord system because Vegapunk invented something even better to replace him. Turns out it's Seraphim, Cyborg, I guess, clones, of the warlords, but they're like giant children versions of them. They seem to have Lunarian traits, like fucking dark skin or whatever. They're like eye pupils or what, like stars, all this crazy shit. They got little wings. And Seraphim Baby Mihawk completely disfigures the Amazon Lily Mountain with one slash of his sword. So these things are probably as powerful as the originals that they're being stolen from. And maybe when they grow up to be adults, they'll be even more powerful. Blackbeard himself goes head to head with one of these and is fucking horrified, as he usually does get jobbed from time to time. But what are your thoughts on these Seraphim, Eggy?
Well, I think that they are absolutely terrifying because it's, you know, the pacifistas are one thing. Okay, I mean, Kuma, yeah, he's a pretty good base for this. Yeah, he's big, he's powerful, he's got a ruthless reputation. So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to pick one guy to base your supply of killing machines off of, I think you kind of can't really go wrong by having them all modeled after Kuma. But this is kind of like a... you know, this is where a good video game analogy I think could come in, because you're gonna have basically you have your Kuma base. You know, like, okay, we got him out, he's doing all this crazy stuff. Now we're gonna go into the Seraphim, and these are gonna have such more of a specialization. They're gonna have all of these unique traits that are to their origin, what they're based off. Not that Kuma wasn't, but you know, he was just kind of like a proof of concept, maybe almost, although he was more than that. But you know, what exactly did he have? He had his ability to you know, move people with his hand, and he had a lot of beams, a lot of, you know, and that's pretty standard fare for a weapon of destruction, to have the hand beams and the mouth beam and so on. But it's kind of like going from like a NES to like a, you know, like a PlayStation 2 or something. Like you have all these basic building blocks. Like, okay, boom, we have a couple attacks here, we have a couple of offensive measures here, but now we have, you know, this person was able to do this and this and this, and they have this certain size to them, and they have a certain, like all the stats are more intricately calculated to create these. And we see that it maintains what we've been familiar with in the Pacifista, which is sort of this very ruthless, destructive, you know, leave nothing standing, leave nothing besides the objective of destruction that the Pacifistas had. So I think it's horrible, because, I mean, if they're able to get their hands on, as we see later on with the Jinbei variant, if they're able to get these sort of things and use them to take from the Straw Hats, I mean, that's going to be the greatest opponent of all time. That's like playing Super Smash Bros. To get the same character you're playing and turn the CPU to like level 10 intelligence. And you're like, wow, I could do that. You know, what? I could. I have that attack. I didn't even know that one. I think
and give him like 10 like Mario mushrooms, so they're super big compared to you. It's just not fair.
They can instantly teleport directly to the invulnerability star, and also the smash hammer, and also in brawl onward the smash ball within 1 nanosecond every single time.
And we get Blackbeard's bounty of almost 4 billion, 3.996 at, you know, 4 billion bounty men. Even he's fucking screaming in terror at Kid Mihawk or whoever was fucking with him. And then we get this great shot, and I need the poster immediately. Blackbeard choking that dumb bitch Boa Hancock, holding her up by her throat the way that she deserves for how when she kicked that baby seal and that baby puppy, whatever the hell happened, deserved. And we get a lot of, or maybe a little bit of lore about this stone fruit, the Medusa fruit that she has. She turns a bunch of people into stone. I guess it's not working on Blackbeard. It's not working on Kobe. Do you think Kobe's a fucking homo, Eggy? He's gay for Luffy. Literally, plot armor is that he's gay for Luffy.
All I'm going to say is that sailors have not typically had a reputation for heterosexuality. You know, you had the 20th century sailor that was like, you know, like spanking each other with the towels or whatever. And if we're going to take it back, I mean, let's just be realistic here. I mean, yeah, if we're going to think about what they were doing in the 1500s or whatever, they were probably saying, oh, I found a mermaid. They're over here like fucking a squid or something, or a fish probably. They're disgusting freaks. You know, these are like the most disturbed, sick miscreants expelled from every single country, just floating around in the ocean. I mean, listen, you know, they're gonna be fucking something, and it was probably each other in the ass. You know, I mean, I don't know if there's a real a standard for that. I mean, I'm sure every single island they happened upon, they were kidnapping or pillaging and everything like that too. But
they refer to each other as seamen. Like they just see each other as giant bodies of seamen. That's all they see. Men.
You have Blackbeard being the most stereotypical representation of piracy as we know it. Maybe he's a little
into
sweet,
the booty,
so to speak.
Yeah.
And then we have Kobe. He's literally even portrayed as a possible trans actor in
literally
the live
trans,
action.
yeah.
A little bit femboy style. I don't know. Maybe he's that stereotypical representation of a sailor, and maybe smacking men on the butts with a towel.
Hey, being gay for Luffy, it's got me this far in life, and it's helping Kobe out here. Although not so much, because it leads to Kobe getting kidnapped by Blackbeard. So now they have Pudding and Kobe imprisoned. What do you think of this?
Well, I mean, if Silver's real, I guess, you know, he wasn't like right there. He's there to mediate, but I feel like it's kind of disrespectful to have him get kidnapped when you have, you know, that kind of.
Does Rayleigh give a fuck about
people.
Kobe? Yeah, he's fine with a random Marine getting kidnapped, right? Even if he was standing up for what was right.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I suppose it makes sense that he, he was, Boa Hancock was his priority for sure. But I mean, I don't know. He's supposed to kind of be, I don't know. I mean, I have a high regard for him, and that hasn't changed necessarily. I just feel like, you know, in that situation, I could see him having enough sway to go with what he likes. But yeah, I don't know. I was a little, I don't know, I guess surprised, but I guess when you think about it, it's not really surprising. But to speak on, although also the panel you were mentioning of Boa Hancock being held up by Blackbeard, I do, you know, he's got a very agreeable presentation. You know, he's very large in the midsection with kind of smaller limbs. He's got kind of this neck beard thing jutting out. His teeth are kind of jank. You know, he looks he's kind of got a smile on his face while he's doing his thing. You know, it's a very aspirational depiction, I think. You know, if he's the best by the numbers, the greatest power, you know, being the Yonko that he is now, doing what he pleases. Even Silver's Rayleigh is there to just calm him down and not try to go toe to toe and stop him from doing what he likes.
And his goal, of course, is he wants her powers, which is, you know, stone fruit. And she says, hey, even if you get my power, you can't undo the stone spells that I cast. Which, I don't know how she knows all the intricacies of how her power works from generation to generation. Like, how would you have tested that? Did you find stone statues from the previous user and try to fix them? That's like the only explanation I can think of. Unless she's just bluffing, which that's also an option. She might just be lying. Like,
I'm gonna guess the old lady maybe gave her some kind of like some folklore.
Yeah, that could be.
Right?
But the question is, it was that Blackbeard's goal? Is hypothetically a Rox D. Zebek figure out there in the world, frozen in stone, that Blackbeard wants to get this power to free?
Ooh, that's well, we know that he made his trek down to get Shiryu out from bottom of Impel Down, so I think that definitely tracks for his MO for sure. I didn't even think about that up until now, but yeah, I mean, I mean, through all these generations, I'm sure somebody had to have been. Maybe we haven't been privy to it, but I mean, Boa Hancock is not that old. Somebody else had this fruit before, and I'm sure it's within Blackbeard's lifetime to know about somebody that it could be used to remedy of that. Yeah,
unless she's not lying and they really can't revive somebody else, in which case maybe that's why he was fine with taking Kobe instead and leaving her behind. But when he's talking to Katarina Devon and was it Vasco's shot, his alcoholic friend, Katarina wants to decapitate her and take her head as a trophy. And I think Vasco's shot is implying he wants to rape her, which I thought was pretty fucked up for Oda to put in there, but these are the most piratey pirates.
Yeah, just for the listeners at home, I'll quote Vasco's. There's been some large-bodied alcoholics out there that have made some remarks over the years. Never me, of course, but I like to watch this Brian Rizzo character. He said a couple things, and the Vasco shot dialogue specifically is, "Come on, don't you want to take her back with us alive so we can be in very bold font, good friends with her?" And then a heart symbol after that, as his tongue is like hanging out. He's looks like a complete wild animal, and it actually looks like his hand is like coming up, and he's like making a groping motion, but it's not fully, like you only see like the tips, like the top parts of his fingers in the depiction.
Wow, you thought York was literally you.
The love child, call me Vasco Yoke. I have a lot of. You see a lot of Vasco, but it's just the veins in my eyes are from bloodshotness. It's the only vascularity I have. Eat,
sleep, rape, and shit cycle.
He's probably just simping, he probably wants to just give her a nice drink combo. Sickos are taken out of context. Oda knows what time it is. He had to do it because I think wasn't it just the previous chapter is where Dragon says about Sabo, if it's true that he killed King Cobra, there will be a reckoning between us, no matter his reason. So we had to get, somebody, a nice man who enjoys a nice beverage and wants female friends to be misinterpreted by us, the viewer, the reader, in the next chapter thereafter.
Yeah, poor Sabo might be falsely accused and then killed by a nuclear bomb. But one last note on the Amazon Lily. We find out that Rayleigh's girlfriend, Shaki, used to be the Empress of Amazon Lily a few generations ago. Any thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's kind of a success story in the same way. I mean, I would read it as that way for both her and also Silver's Rayleigh, because they were in these powerful positions, almost kind of like when a gang leader being sort of maybe arrested and then pardoned and kind of going on a different path in life. There was this guy, Ricky Ross, Freeway Ricky. You might have, he was like the guy that like first brought crack into the ghetto in like the 1980s, but he did like 15 years or something like that and ended up like, he said, I'm going to go out and be anti-drug for the children. And so they let him out early to go and do these seminars. So he's been like a public speaker to like finish your education, eat your vegetables and all this stuff to all the ghettos and stuff for the last like 16, 17 years now, I think. Anyway, perhaps, it's not the worst fate for somebody in that position to be in, because you're going to be in a very dangerous lifestyle. A lot of negative things could be happening to you. And if you can just get out, hang your hat up, go to a nice quiet Sabaody and, have a bar, work on some ships. I think that's a pretty decent resolution after having had a very notorious and infamous reputation. So, I mean, obviously, Silver's Rayleigh wasn't exactly that, because he was, getting himself auctioned off to get some money to, like, then, kill whoever was buying him and taking the money and going on. But for her, more particularly, I think that... I think going from an Empress to being able to just have a nice quiet spot, I think we could all be so lucky, so fortunate.
It would explain why she was still sexy as fuck in her 60s or whatever age she is.
That's right.
Okay, let's go into... What's your take on what's going on with Sabo here? He calls Dragon from Lelucia Kingdom, which I believe... there's an old cover story where Ace was looking for Blackbeard. I think he spent some time in Lelucia. Maybe like the fake Dr. Blackbeard was here. Moda, the girl who gave him some moo milk, might have been from here. So we've been here before, but not for long. Sabo says, hey, I didn't kill King Cobra, but I did see something terrible. And then all of a sudden, what's coming out of the clouds? Like, are those 16 beams of light or whatever fucking number that Doflamingo said before? 16 holy bullets? Is there 16 exact beams of light coming out of these clouds to nuclear bomb this island out of existence? And Emu crosses it off the map with an X and says that country never existed in the first place, Eggy? In the very volume where we find out that ancient technology was actually far advanced, Is this a fucking ancient weapon being used by Emu? Is this a fucking alien UFO that shoots nuclear bombs, Eggy?
Well, let's see. So we got Pluton and what was the other one? Pluton and
Poseidon and Uranus.
Yeah. So, yeah, if we're having, well, I guess we're not necessarily having.
I think it's Uranus.
We're not necessarily having these secret weapons one-to-one matching road poneglyphs, unless this is supposed to be. Yeah, because that. Yeah. Okay, hold on. But it does seem to me. It's shocking for one. Like I saw, like I was reading through it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, because I mean, what floods into your mind? You know, you're thinking about the Void Century, and you're thinking about, we get the, everything keeps dialing back to this missing history and these secret weapons and the ability to transcribe a poneglyph and how terrible that is and how dangerous it is. Well, I think this is the first instance that we've gotten to see where it seems like something along those lines is taking place right here, and it is literally able to vaporize an entire country in 1 second, and then I mean, who would know? You know, you're floating around like, well, it's supposed to be over here somewhere. I mean, you're operating on a log post at this point. You know, you're not looking at a map necessarily. So if you had a log post set for there and it doesn't exist anymore, your log post probably just locks onto something else. And
there's no magnetic pulse of the island to lock onto anymore. It doesn't exist. Is this what happened to Enies Lobby and why there's a giant fucking crater in the ocean? Did it get blasted by this weapon back in the day?
Well, it's certainly very compelling because, I mean, if you have an island that's formed, I believe, you know, to put back on the science hat here, I think if you have an island that's formed and it is, you know, to the degree and to the extent that it's, you know, not just floating aimlessly, it probably has a little bit of a base underneath it that it's, you know, has formed over the time of its existence. So I think destroying that probably would leave some kind of gap for a while anyway. I mean, I think even now in our world, you know, I don't think any of our continents have moved in like a million years, but there's still evidence of, you know, shit that was happening a million years ago that we could look at and say, oh, that's when that happened. That's why that's like that. So I think so. I would say so. But in any case, yeah, it's horrifying because who's controlling this exactly and how is it being operated? Does it have a cooldown period? Does it need to be loaded up in some kind of way? Because
why didn't they use this on O'Hara instead of a Buster call? Like, why not just fucking blast it out of existence? You don't have to worry about those books being thrown into the lake or whatever.
I could see that being just in the instances of a Buster call being used differently or as a different option. I think that's when the government just wants you to know what they're up to. Like, oh, you know, hey, we know that you know that we know, and we want to just devastate your family and everybody you love and small children because we're the government. That's what we do. So I could see it being along those lines because, well, I'm gonna say it's Cross Guild. Hear me now.
I would like to make a prediction. I would like to see this weapon used on an island where the Straw Hats are, and Luffy pulls out fucking ultimate gum balloon to protect the entire island from the nuclear bomb, and he shoots it back up with his Mirror Force power. I would like to see that. I would like to see a flashback of Enies Lobby, because if you look at the land of Enies Lobby, like it's the big round crater, but then there's like a patch of round land like hovering sort of over it. I could see like a flashback where like a former Gum user like does that in a small way to protect, you know, somebody beneath, and then it like destroys everything around it. And that might explain how that whole landmass was formed.
You know, I would possibly explain why the elders of Marijoa were like, hey, well, one thing about it, we definitely got to get that gum fruit, you know, and fuck what they're talking about. That's supposed to be highly prized, and
they've been trying 800 years to get it, and it kept eluding them. Hey, also in this chapter, Eggy, let's move on, or move back a little bit. we've been talking about Luffy's true dream is not just to be Pirate King. That's only the beginning. He's got more ambitious goals after that. And in chapter 1060, he finally confesses it to the crew, but not to us. We don't get to see it. And we get to see all of the crew's different reactions to it. And I'm wondering if all these different reactions based on who they're coming from, is it going to give us any hint as to what this true dream is? When we've got like Brooke, Frankie, and Sanji, they all laugh about it. But Usopp, Luffy's equal in goofiness and friendship and age, he's like disgruntled. He's like, you can't be serious. That's not possible. He's like disgusted by it. What the hell could he have said?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's going to be something that's kind of nonsensical. Like, I mean, I guess also taking into account the fact that that's not possible. Well, maybe he does want some King of the Pirates. I mean, who thinks of something like that? That makes me think it's something to do with like, just like eating or something ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna have all the meat in the world brought to my ceremony, but I feel like it has to be something more, just like free going. Like maybe he'd even say like that he would just give under his watch, he would give everybody their own freedom. Maybe that's like, oh, I'm stronger. I've conquered the entire world. Now I'm gonna say, hey, everybody, you know what? Go be a free thinker. Go do what you want to do. And, go and just to each your own, and if anybody is trying to impose themselves on somebody else, then I'll handle that myself as necessary, and we'll keep things, people able to develop and, better themselves, become greater. And I think, for the cynics among us, often that would probably preclude having to better yourself at somebody else's expense, because that's just how it goes. But maybe there's a way to exist in Luffy's harmonious, definitely not police state or anything like that. Luffy's chill, but just don't be on some weird stuff and don't try to enslave anybody or like slaughter or torture people, anything like that. And maybe he'll be okay and he'll just be chilling.
So you think Luffy said, my childhood dream all my life has been to free all peoples in the world from government oppression, and Usopp of all people would be like, after seeing how many miracles Luffy has performed, he just like freed the entire nation of Wano. Even then Usopp's like, are you crazy? You can't do that.
Well, I think he could be approaching it from a way where he's like, okay, you're going to subjugate everybody in essence because you are deposing their leaders. And now I'm going to start sounding like CIA or something. You're deposing these people to then kind of give people like this, sense of, yes, I've conquered this bad person. Maybe it seems a bit foolish. I don't know why Usopp would think that in particular. I don't know, maybe.
Good question. What do we know about Usopp that would, like, man, it's so hard to think.
He's a different thinker. He's built different from everybody else.
He's a realistic thinker.
He's willing to say, hey, you know what? I don't know if I got what it takes. I'm going to go wander off. And his mind is not where everybody else's mind is at. He might be seeing Luffy in a position where he is building himself up to this incredible power, and you can't be serious. You're just going to like dissolute. You're gonna be dissolute with this power. Like, oh, hey, everybody do what you want to do. You know what? I've shown myself to be the greatest, and that I could put things back together if they get out of line. But I'm not going to impose anything over you necessarily. I'm going to let you develop as you wish. Maybe Usopp could look at that and be like, well, these people have just been at war for the last 500 years. You're going to say, oh, just go be friends now? Like, you're crazy. They're all going to kill each other anyway. Okay, then we'll come back and we'll handle business then if that's what needs to be. But
now,
so I can see his perspective like that.
The other way, though, let's say what you're saying is what Luffy said. Why would Brooke, Frankie, and Sanji laugh at it like it's funny?
Well, Brooke, he's been killed and had to wander the seas for decades. He's probably thinking, oh, I can think of all the guys who would be so overjoyed to have that kind of power and just let it go. Frankie maybe kind of a similar thing. You know, he was kind of subjugated. He was killed and brought back and had to suffer some tyranny to his existence and his ideas. And
these are like the three perverts of the crew, right? Like Brooke, Frankie, and Sanji. They're like the perverts. You know, is it like a perverted dream? Maybe I want to see all the titties of the world.
Well, I mean, Chopper's given some kind of blushing and like soy jack reaction here, so.
There are some popular theories out there, Eggy. There's a YouTuber named...
You're gonna give every woman the gum fruit so they can make their tits as big as possible? Wow!
There's got to be better fruits for that. I don't want them to be stretchy rubber titties, because that's horrible. But Library of O'Hara, he's a YouTuber who tries to speak with authority, and when he puts out a theory, he doesn't say it's a theory, he says this is a fact. And he says for a fact that Luffy's dream is to throw a giant party, and that everyone in the world attends the same party. That's what he's been going with. I don't think it matches up to all these fucking reactions from the crew. I don't think it'd be like, oh, Shanks is like, oh, that's the words Gold Roger said. Oh, really? Throw a big party? Who gives a fuck? Are you kidding? So I don't think it's that. I think more realistically...
that could be kind of lit, though. I mean,
yeah.
If he's like... we're going to have all the food combos from every nation brought together at once for a big buffet. I'm going to eat some of everything. We're going to have every drink from every country brought together. It's going to be the real revelry, except it's not going to be these old political freaks. We're going to cross-guild them all out of existence. So we're going to have a real fun time with young people, you know, and we're going to be litty. Ayo. Now, that's a dream I can believe in.
I guess at that age, Luffy would have been like 7 or 8, and his idea of a party would just be hanging out with Shanks' crew, like in a bar. You know, like, because we know that they love to party at the end of every major arc, but as a child, is that something Luffy was accustomed to? Was an epic party to celebrate the end of his story?
Hey, if if his island was anything like the United State of Wisconsin, I mean, you were seeing people drinking out of toilets by the time you're 2 years old. So, you know, I'm sure they were more civilized than us. But in any case, I mean, I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility.
The popular theory I'm more inclined to is that Luffy wants to go to the moon. Because in a world where that technology doesn't exist, it does sound insane. And until we did it, if we even did, who knows, in 1969. I mean, that's a fucking miracle feat of science and technology and hopes and dreams. Like a man walking on the moon, that's the biggest thing humanity's ever done. Ever. So I could see that being Luffy's dream. Sitting on the shore looking at the moon like, oh, I want to go there one day. And we know that Eneru went to the moon and that it's plot relevant and that the story is probably going there eventually. So I think it all fits.
You know, to be honest, I would agree with that, because I could see it in his mindset being, okay, we're going to travel everything down here, but what is next? Because Gold Roger already did all this. We're going to go to Laftel, and we're going to have all this, or Raftel, whatever you want to say. We're going to go there. This is all ground that has been tread before. But I, Luffy, am reaching this much younger than Gold Roger was. I'm coming at this a little bit, you know, we have a similar through thread, but it's still, I'm coming at it a little bit differently. And in this way, I think that there's going to be a definite possibility that he's going to want to expand his horizons. And what bigger way? I mean, he's been to Skypiea, he's been there with Eneru. He's had some inclinations as to what Eneru's goals were and knowing about these things. So, I mean, hey, why not? I mean, I think that's probably the best explanation I can think. I like my version too, because that's what I like to do. But, you know, Luffy, I think he's got bigger aspirations than drinking and eating food combos, even if that's what he likes to do in between his major arcs. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And it might match up to the reactions from the crew. Who could say?
I mean, Frankie, he's about expanding his horizons.
Frankie might help him build the rocket ship to go.
That's right.
He should. Let's take another restroom break, and also I need to kick Shoji out. He's crying at the door. Okay, you ready?
Sorry, I was doing my Duolingo real quick. I just got to close. It's trying to advertise to me to buy the premium. I'm just going to close out of that.
What language are you learning today?
I'm still learning Haitian. Okay.
Creole?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is it started as a joke, and it still frankly is, but it's very similar with French. Me and we're watching. Oh, we got this thing with the library. It's like I think it's called Canopy.
Okay.
And that you can get like all kinds of films on there that you can like rent it digitally. You don't have to do it through the library or whatever. But anyway, we watched a lot of foreign films and French foreign films, and you get a lot of similarities in there. So I could kind of what did we watched? I forget what the hell it was called. There was something. It actually was the actual Creole film that we watched, and it was about like a girl. I can't remember the title of it, but it's like a girl is like she's in a barn and she's like her dad's like fucking the maid or something, and she catches them, and I forget exactly all the specifics. Like her like aunt is like crazy and dying. I can't remember. I don't remember. But anyways, they talk in Creole in that film too, and they don't do subtitles for the Creole. So I'm like, okay, I actually know what you're talking about because I've been.
You were picking it up. Yeah. Hell yeah! Actually learning something in your 30s, Eggy. I didn't know we could still do that. I feel like I'm getting dumber and dumber every year.
It's I've been able to, they say it's only memorization, but I've been able to, to pull out some phrases. Like the one I was doing there was like like the flies were walking. The lamb does not eat the bread. Is like ti mouton pas manger penne. I believe is the lambs do not eat the bread. Ti mutune pas, maybe it's ti mutune c'est pas manger penne, because penne is the bread. Yeah, so
it is starting to sound a little French.
Yeah.
Hey Eggy, what about this? We're over 2 hours in. How about we finally arrive to Egghead Island in this podcast about Egghead Island? And
that's right.
For a long time, Eggy has argued by far the worst supernova is Jewelry Bonnie. What a useless character. She's always crying about scenes that involve Kuma? What the hell's going on in Marineford? Why is she crying? Oh, now we know. It's her daddy, Eggy. What's your thoughts on Jewelry Bonnie?
Nepotism in action, folks. I mean, listen, do you think that Trafalgar D. Long gets to have his parents? Oh, no, I don't think so. You see, he was carried in a fucking carriage of dead children. So, you think, she just, I get to change my age to anything I want. Listen, sounds superficial to me. I'm going to be hot. Y'all, sorry, Kinemon. Sorry your wife didn't get my power, but, it's been 20 years. I'm still this age. What's up?
I mean, Momo kind of got that power used on him by Shinobu in a way. Kinemon's like, can you age my wife up even more, Shinobu? She's not wrinkly enough for me.
He spent a lot of time gambling. Maybe that was like the samurai casinos full of old women. You got a certain kind of taste. It is what it is.
Kinemon orchestrated the entire Odin Orochi debacle because he has a granny fetish and wanted his wife to be way older.
Oda will admit this under the right kind of questioning, folks. Make sure you're writing into him for the next time the next volume gets printed for his SBSs.
In this one volume, has Jewelry Bonnie raised in your ranking of Supernova, or is she still at the bottom with, I think, even below Arouge for you?
Well, unfortunately, due to circumstance, I do have to say that she has elevated just for the sole reason that she actually has some kind of tangible use for this ability. Before, I would have been hard pressed. I mean, what are you gonna you're gonna get aged so you can go to the restaurant and get your senior citizen discount or something? That's about the best I could have probably contemplated prior to this situation. But just for the fact that she's actually, she's saved. She's in the graces of the Straw Hat crew now, so I have to give that for one. She's not just off to the side and forgettable now. She's got something to speak of in that regard.
We get some good panels of her big side boob as she's shirtless and wet. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oda, he knew about me somehow. I don't know. He knew about me somehow. He said, listen, Eggy's going to read this one day. And he said Jewelry Bonnie was the lowest of the low in his opinion. We need to find a way to capture the Egghead audience before we go to Egghead Island. And what better way than to have some ample cleavage that's even bigger than an Egghead? And I said, well,
And
You
she's
know,
calling
that's
dudes
a big
daddy.
one.
Like, okay, sign me up. Big titty girl calling me daddy. Okay, let's do it.
Luffy's kind of low-key gooned out in this panel in 1061 too, because he's like talking about food, but I mean, I don't know. He's staring like basically right at Jewelry Bonnie as she's like pushing her titties up into her shirt, and he's got this face. I've never seen Luffy make this face for food before. I don't know. Maybe lost in translation here. He said he's starving and needs food, but I mean, he's over here looking very, very.
Is that when her hand is like up her
intended.
shirt, like she needs to adjust each titty with her hand? Like, I don't know how titties work, but I don't know if you need to be doing all that.
Well, all I could say is if they're anything like balls, is 99% of our audience understands. Sometimes you do need to, you know, kind of give them a manual shift for comfort. So I'll presume it's something similar.
Sure. So Jewelry Bonnie, daughter of Tyrant Kuma this whole time. Does that give you any hints as to what Bonnie's true age might be? Does that give us anything at all?
I'm going to say that probably around Robin's age, I would imagine then in that case. I guess we've probably been given some of that information about Kuma at some point that I have forgotten entirely. So, and I'm not going to, I feel like if I try to look it up, I might learn too much. I'm not going to ever look anything up until we are current on the material.
So 12 weeks from now.
Yeah. So it seems to me like he probably was of an age that, I guess, like late 20s. I would say late 20s, I feel like would be about right.
When the crew comes across Bonnie, she's basically dead. She like fell into the ocean due to these, I think, Vegapunk defensive monsters, the machines. She's like in an eddy of like heated water that's rising up above the ocean. I guess this is like a real scientific phenomena. Who knows? But when she's in the water, Bonnie is in the form of a child.
I don't know if there's maybe if you have an overall lower body mass, maybe, I mean, it shouldn't mean anything for somebody with a devil fruit, but maybe at least it's a lower area, this lower surface area. So if you're, as we immediately see directly after, there's a horrible, awful, giant robot shark monster. maybe you're being able to, prior to this, skip by a couple of his defensive mechanisms. Maybe you're a little too small for it because they're not going to anticipate, you know, being infiltrated by children. So I could see that maybe being a part of it, possibly. I don't know what else the
you could hope that
would be.
They're programmed not to attack kids. That might be a good strategy to. I mean, if you're infiltrating any place, you probably goes kid mode to go anywhere, just so you don't get severely questioned, or you know. But who knows? We'll find out, I'm sure. Let's see. We meet Vegapunk 2. Lilith, the evil one. We find out about Punk Hazard number 1. We went through this about 2 hours ago, folks. You may recall. We get to see Kaku, Lucci, Seraphim Kuma, and according to my notes, Stussy is there. That beautiful woman from Whole Cake Island. You might not even remember this character, Eggy, but that's okay.
She was the one that I remember because it had to do with the some
Tomate box. She was obsessed with it. Yeah. Bonnie is here because Bonnie's goal in this arc, she wants to kill Vegapunk because he turned Kuma into a cyborg. And it turns out Cypher Pole Zero here, Kaku and Lucci, they're also on a mission to kill Vegapunk. So, Eggy, does Vegapunk survive the Egghead Island arc with so many people coming for his throat?
I think we're going to be finding ourselves in a position here where this is like the pinnacle, perhaps thus far, of brains over brawn, because I mean, once again, I'm thinking I'm approaching the island. I know it's coming one day. I've seen whatever. I'm walking around Barnes and Noble. They got a big thing that says Egghead. I'm not looking at it that close, but I know one day there's going to be this going on, and the intellectual angle of it was not exactly what I had in mind necessarily, but with that being said, I feel like the Cypher Pole is especially cunning. I think that I think Jewelry Bonnie, I feel like less so, but I guess I'm really getting my first taste of her with a little bit more depth to her character now as we go into this part of the volume here. But I feel like Vegapunk, I mean, we all the way back to the future city Baltimore. I mean, how far have we gone back? We've traced through some of these Vegapunkian ruins. I feel like the defensive measures that are being employed here around the barrier, around the area around this island. I think that we're observing some intelligence that we've not seen probably from anybody thus far. Like that's the first impression anyway. And so I'm sure with the right kind of firepower, you could really just start tearing through all of the 6 Vegapunk minions or sections, whatever you want to call them, and probably be able to overwhelm those forces with the right kind of attacks. But I think that the brain versus brawn mechanic here is going to be employed in a way that we have not seen to this extent before. It would be my prediction in any case.
It is, I think, a little unique to have an assassination plot where the victim has been split into like 7 different people. So it's like, maybe we'll see some Vegapunks die, but are they going to get them all? Maybe that'll be... Because then you get the drama of, like, you could have the same character die multiple times and it'll be, impactful each time, hypothetically.
Well, and then, to speak to the dialogue from Lucci here at the end of 1062 saying they want us to eliminate the most useful man in the world. So this is like the highest level of intellect that is even probably could even be conceived of, in the standard space that we've been familiar with. So I think that there could be levels to this that even with my best of intentions of really wanting to give Vegapunk the benefit of the doubt here, it could be operating on a whole other level that I'm not even familiar with whatsoever. So, it's, these are all... I feel like as we're introduced to the Vegapunks, they'll kind of have their own, like, very particular defining traits, which then could, in my opinion, be, like, easy to counter those particularly unique traits if you're so inclined, which that might make them, seemingly a little more easy to take down one by one if you're really overwhelming them. But I feel like there's got to be systems in place, notifications, alerts, they feel each other. That's why York is eating and shitting and sleeping constantly, because they're all connected in that way. So I think that everything that we're seeing, I think there's more beneath the surface so far that we need to be taking into account.
Meanwhile, we get some costume changes, because this island has like automatic food machine, automatic fashion machine. It turns out you should have probably paid for those, because then robot cop Kuma is coming after you later on. But in my opinion, Luffy's new outfit, I don't really like it. I think it's got an ugly design, but his boots, in my view, are very Astro Boy coded, very, very similar design. And considering that the theme of this is kind of like the future is in the past, this island is actually technology from 800 years ago. I believe Tezuka is like the godfather of manga, that everything that we know and love in the modern day came from like his designing of how to really do these manga panels correct. And if I'm correct, I think one of his earliest works and like one of the first anime ever made was Astro Boy. So yeah. If the future is the past and etc., for the original manga and anime to be about a futuristic boy, and then for Oda to kind of be, referencing that here along with this dialogue, I feel like it's very intentional.
Yeah, it's I'm glad that you said that, because actually that is very true. I looked at it, I was thinking of like Jet Set Radio Future. I don't know if you're familiar with that game, or like it's especially, it was really Nami's, I think, design here, because her design, her costume here is like exactly that. It's sort of like it's futuristic, but I think the game came out in like 2001, maybe something like that. You're getting like a sort of mid-90s kind of because the game's about doing like graffiti. and skating on your like special boots that look kind of similar to what she's wearing, but or even Space Channel 5 for that matter, if you're familiar with that game. But this sort of tight, emblazoned with a logo outfit here. The headset is very central to this, but really the whole outfit with like these sorts of lines and circles and things that you would associate perhaps with something robotic or futuristic under these circumstances. It definitely feels, yeah, like we're in the future, but we're still retaining with our technology, we're retaining some of our culture, which really was a very Y2K thing, because now we're just completely subsumed by algorithms and everything. So like our culture has kind of been decimated in a lot of ways. But at that time though, and I think, you know, with this harkens to perhaps, and you know, honestly it speaks for the Astro Boy time frame as well, because with the rebuild and the Tokyo and coming back from ruins to you know, neo-futuristic sort of aesthetic, I think that it fits in both senses, in what you've mentioned and how I felt about it as well.
And this section, before we cut to the epic Law and Blackbeard duel that I don't think we get a resolution to in this volume, do we? Yeah, they get attacked by Cop Kuma, Policeman Kuma, and Bonnie's like, no, that's my daddy, don't hurt my daddy. And Luffy's like, you fucking moron, no it's not. And they get all exploded. Cut to, did you see this coming? And you might recall, Law, Kid, and Luffy about to leave Wano. They're drawing straws to see who goes where, because there's 3 different islands they can go to next. So hypothetically, if Luffy drew the wrong straw, he's pulling up to Winter Island and getting attacked by Blackbeard here. And same thing for Kid. So it's another question of, you know, luck and fate and all that. And Law, his crew's going up against Blackbeard's crew, Eggy. What do you think of this fight so far? I mean, pretty fucking epic considering, you know, Pegasus getting cut in half and all that. But what are your thoughts here?
Well, I was happy to see Jesus Burgess back. You know, he's looking pretty good. I feel like comparatively to the members of the Blackbeard crew, I feel like he's been getting less appearances overall in the last however many volumes, quite a bit since, you know, way back. But
and we find out that all of their devil fruits, very exciting to get the Blackbeard Pirates devil fruits here.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Jesus has these strong fruit. I think he's like holding a mountain over his head. I
mean, you know, Law, he's preparing here as they're about to surface. You know, he's got some kind of gender change ability going on, and like all the crew, they're all turning into women and all growing giant tits, which seems to, you know, resolve itself immediately as soon as they do surface. But I mean, hey, what better way to prepare for people that have, you know, I mean, you might as well try something a little freaky one time.
Well, is this Oda continuing his gender relations, you know, ideas here? Doc Q has the sick fruit, and he's using a feminization disease to turn Law's crew into women. Is Oda saying that transgenderism is a mental illness that needs to be cured through sheer willpower, aka hockey, to force yourself into being a man again?
That is certainly one way to read it, because I don't really.
That is how I read it.
It's referred to as the feminization disease. So to become a woman is a disease. To become a woman is literally a disease.
it's the worst sickness I could think of. Should I drink more of this Bacardi, do you think? I'm all out of rocks, though. We're close to the end. Let's not keep drinking, actually. We've been going 2.5 hours about, minus a bathroom break. Van Augur, the sniper of the crew who was sniping birds 5 miles off of Mocktown. He's got the teleportation fruit. How the fuck is Usopp supposed to win a sniper battle against a guy who can teleport, Eggy?
I mean, listen, back all the way in Alabasta, Zoro was feeling the vibrations of metal and stone to be able to track the movements of Mr. One, to be able to catch him. If Usopp can't even do so much as to, I mean, and Luffy, you know, he's fighting Katakuri, you know, he's predicting his movements. It's something that Usopp needs to have, I think. I mean, you know, I remember back in the day playing San Andreas multiplayer, and you would have to, you know, you had to know where your opponent was about to walk into, because due to the lag, you had to be shooting into the empty space that they were about to move into in order for the bullets to hit. I think Usopp's very capable of that. I think he's got all the tools he needs. Van Auger, I mean, the whole multi-fruit, really just the fact that they've stolen these particular fruits, and they're going to be very irritating and aggravating to deal with. They've been especially formulated as such. They're going to be the biggest problems, I think, that the Straw Hat crew has yet to face. What's out there in the world that I can think of at the moment, really tangibly speaking. But he's got to get good. He's just got to learn that. I think it's pretty elementary, firearm or sharpshooter experience. Is just, you don't necessarily have a good read with body language. He's not going to be moving physically into a space, but you should be able to observe your environment and see what is going to be the most tactically opportune place for him to appear at, and then make that judgment call. Usopp, I think, if he's going to be competitive at this level, I think he's got to be able to do that.
Yeah, if he had an observation hockey spike, around chapter 760, hopefully by the 1400s, he's way better. We'll see.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, if you can see the future, then who cares if you're teleporting? I know where to shoot.
That's right.
Do you have any theories on how this encounter between the two crews is going to end? Who will be the winner at Winter Island?
Between
Law and Blackbeard, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to say, because I just feel like Blackbeard is he's just very ultimate as far as everything that's in existence right now. He gets treated pretty well here, is the word that I would use. I feel like we're seeing him possibly the most vulnerable that we have. Just the fact that he is being stabbed and not maybe
he's getting
having
shock
the
willied like Big Mom was. And he goes fucking flying, and Van Auger has to teleport him so he doesn't crash into the ocean, I think.
Yeah. So we're seeing Law, having a real chance, which, without having, if I hadn't read into it, if I had to make a future prediction, I probably would have given Blackbeard even more the benefit of the doubt there. But I think that, Law, he's showing that he's got that capability. And I mean, he did just be involved with the takedown of Big Mom, so he's certainly capable in damaging a Yonko with some significance. I just feel like Blackbeard, I think he's operating at a different speed. Because Big Mom, she had her... I feel like Blackbeard has just been so meticulous and calculated with everything that he's done. He's really been plotting. Honestly, he's kind of like Oda, in the way that he plots so many steps ahead that I think you really have to be at your highest level of observation, your highest level of perception and tactical prowess if you want to have any chance in taking him down. But I'm still, all the same, I feel like probably, even if there's not a definitive defeat of one side or the other, I feel like Law is still at a disadvantage here. I'd probably still bet on Blackbeard to be the victor in this particular showdown at the moment.
In which case, are we not completely fucked? If Blackbeard defeats Law, probably kills my favorite character, takes his devil fruit. We've had so many arcs about how Law's devil fruit is the god tier OP, no pun intended, fruit. Doflamingo wanted it more than anything. In Blackbeard's hands, I think Luffy's fucked. Low-key, that's no good. So hopefully, Law, I don't know how you're getting out of this one, Law. Your whole crew has no devil fruit. Just you. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if he could deal significant damage or even kill or take down a couple of the Blackbeard officers, and then maybe something goes on to split them up from there, I feel like that wouldn't be a bad start. But I mean, this is I mean maybe it's just me, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but I feel like Blackbeard's definitely a new breed of Yonko compared to the old guard. He's kind of coming at it with a different kind of style that I feel like is more dangerous than anybody's been used to before. So, gotta be careful, Law.
Might be the end of Law. It might be. I mean, if you're Oda and you're writing Law, I mean, his big moment was really Dressrosa, and then he's just kind of being strung along through Wano. Might as well kill him off at this point. I mean, what else was he gonna do?
He gets captured by Blackbeard. He's in lockup with Kobe, and Kobe's like, "Oh, well, if you just help me get out of here, I can help. We can figure something out here." And then maybe he's gonna help get Kobe out. Maybe they go back to the Navy, and
I believe they might be friends because we hear about this Rocky Port incident, and that's how Law became a warlord. Is that at the Rocky Port incident, he collected like 100 pirate hearts. And Kobe became a Marine hero because of the Rocky Port incident. And I believe, did we learn about this recently? Like, didn't Blackbeard say this to Kobe? Like, hey, you helped me out and I won Full of Lead Island because of you. So I guess Rocky Port's that Full of Lead. So these guys all know each other.
So I could see it being that because we don't really have, it would still further the Straw Hats' eventual goals to have the Cross Guild dealt with. I feel like they're going after Marines, but they're not exactly necessarily like allies to the Straw Hats either. So maybe if Kobe, let's say Law gets taken in, he breaks out with Kobe, they go back and maybe they could start setting up something against, or at least I don't know, because I don't want the Cross Guild to go down because I hate politicians. I mean Marines or whatever. But
why are you bringing Cross Guild into this?
Well, I'm saying because the Cross Guild is going against the Marines.
Okay.
If Kobe as a Marine helped him and Law come to some kind of understanding to get out, and get free from the Blackbeard kidnapping or whatever. Maybe that would be an angle, like, okay, I'll take you back, but you have to pledge you're gonna help us against this, maybe, or something. Maybe that could be something for him to be a part of. Or maybe he's about to win, and if he does,
maybe he's about to die. Well, would you take Law prisoner? I want his fruit right now. Kill him right now. Give me that damn fruit.
I can't go. Yeah. I just don't want him to die.
It might be game over for Law. I don't see how he gets out of this one. Meanwhile, back on Egghead Island, Bonnie saved them from Cop Kuma by changing their ages, so now he doesn't recognize them. Sure, why not? And then Shaka, the Daft Punk Vegapunk, he calls Luffy's dad on the phone and says, "Hey, Dragon, I think I'm about to be killed by fucking Rob Lucci, just so you know." Oh, okay. Oh, and then Bonnie finds a lightsaber. Cool. Star Wars, Eggy?
With this, when we're in the island here and with this is the whole setup, the whole design of it, what it reminded me of was the episode of the Baruto podcast that I guest starred on a long time ago, because there's so much of that volume or whatever it was that takes place in this very sterile kind of thing where they're testing out gadgets. Other than the whole train scene and the...
Yeah, that is pretty similar, actually. That's funny.
So that's where my mind went to, because they had the whole whatever the train thing, and then the guy in the cave or whatever with the fire or whatever was going on. Not anything I put that much stock into remembering, but the aesthetic of it though, sort of. There's definitely a style for scientific laboratories that manga seems to trend towards, and I feel like Oda isn't necessarily breaking out of that sort of design choice here in his depiction of the Vegapunk labs. You have a lot of these black and white these sliding doors that close together in a certain type of way. You have this bold capital font that's very kind of military style almost. So not too much of a breaking of the mold here. That's kind of what it reminded me of. But then we get a taste of some more Seraphim goodness, as I alluded to earlier with the Jinbei Seraphim, which is actually based on his post Jewelry Bonnie change into a child.
And it seems to have the devil fruit power that Frankie's friend Senor Pink has, the swim fruit, and we have this fishman Seraphim monster swimming through the floor to attack our Straw Hats. The Vegapunks walked them into a trap, evidently, which didn't seem very Vegapunky to me, but I guess one of them is literally called the Evil One, so why not? Is Senior Pink dead? Is that why Oda had that cover story of Senior Pink and Frankie crying at the bar because he knew it could never actually be, because Senior Pink is fucking dead?
That would be a very different way for him to approach that subject, I would say.
Like he knew that he couldn't put it in the actual story because it, he would be dead. So might as well just give us what could have been. I mean, how else would two people have the same devil fruit power? Have we ever seen that before?
You know what? Hey, Seraphim, there was a quote here, I think it's from the Wise Vegapunk. He says that the attack patterns evolve as they grow. Maybe it's kind of like Pokemon. Maybe you start off with like your baselines, and maybe if your combat abilities scale, maybe the Seraphims are just built like that. Maybe they could develop a version of a devil fruit power. It's a bit. Because, I mean, if the Seraphim, if they could just keep on creating these things, I mean, do they have something to draw from, like a storage bank of abilities or potentials or something like that to then, instill perhaps in the Seraphims that they could draw, like, in the same way you'd have a certain nature for your Pokemon. Maybe it's going to develop this type of way, or the EVs on it are, a certain amount that's going to develop to a certain amount of strength. Maybe there's I could see there being something to that, because I mean we'll have to see. I think our first exposure to this here leaves it vague as far as what he could be up to or what could have happened to him. But I think if we see other Seraphims being created and they have abilities of people that we know to be alive, I think that would be kind of a definitive answer for us on that topic.
That's a good call. A logical answer, Eggy. Minus the restroom breaks, I think this is now our new longest episode ever, and it might retain that status, but who could say? I mean, I'm pretty excited for volume 116, to be honest, but anything else from this volume that we really need to get to right now?
I think that we covered every single thing that possibly could be covered here, as far as I'm
there's probably plenty of things we missed, but I mean, fuck, folks, it's been almost 3 hours. What a jam-packed volume with meaty information, so many bounties and new Yonko and changes in the world. And I think this is a good taste of Oda's writing style is going to change here in Act 3 of One Piece. And usually we would only get to see glimpses of world events, like in between arcs, at the end of arcs. Here Oda says, oh, we're in the middle of Egghead? Let's go see what Law's up to for 2 chapters, and then we'll jump back. And this is going to be pretty consistent that, in Act 3 of One Piece, we don't just get trapped on the island with the Straw Hats. We get to just jump around the world willy-nilly whenever Oda wants. And, strap in. There's 450 chapters of this coming up.
That's right.
I'm hyped as fuck.
Hell yeah.
Eggy, we made it to Egghead Island. We made our longest episode yet. And even Eggy being on the road didn't stop us. Anything you want to say to the measly crew at home?
Well, I want to say, you know what? I think I probably said something like this not that long ago. Maybe it was, I couldn't tell you when, but it really means the utmost. Thank you for bearing with us. And, as I've had some things going on that have kept me a little delayed, I had some hecticness going on, but appreciate your stewardness. Shout out to our new crew members. Being along with the ride for us here as we finally have, in fact, reached the island that was promised to us 3,000 hours ago.
I think we legitimately talked about the Wano arc for over 25 hours if you add up all the podcasts. So that's it. That's something. What an arc. You can talk about it for a full day. And then,
right.
Egghead, we're 3 hours into discussing that already, evidently. So who knows how long this will take.
I can't wait. It's going to be exciting and exceptional to get some more in. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be a grand old time. And thank you to our dear crew for being here with us to make it all happen and to put it all together and to see the sights, hear the sounds.
And before we do our plugs, I would like to do everybody's favorite segment, Where Are They Now?, where we compare our One Piece Virgin podcast to our rival One Piece Virgin podcast. And, they're still on Fishman Island. the beginning of Act 2 of One Piece. We have completed Act 2 of One Piece. We are so far ahead of them, and I don't think that woman will ever catch up watching the anime. The superior One Piece Virgin podcast reigns supreme. Eggy, what would you like to plug this week?
Well, now that I found out recently that Twitter pays me to tweet, and I was like, where the hell's the money? Because, it's...
Wait, they haven't paid you? Like, there's like an amount that they owe you?
No, well, here's the thing of it is, I guess your first payout takes like an additional week, so, or like 7 to 10 days or something like that. So at first I was like, anytime something good starts happening, I immediately have to become skeptical. I'm like, you're really for posting total dog shit that nobody cares about, you're gonna actually give me money for this for some reason? But it seems like that it's getting worked out of the tubes now, and I could make up to, a few $100 extra a month by tweeting. So if you want to keep up to date with everything that's good to know about in the entire world and my takes on it, more Giga Chad gifs that I make with Pixiv verse or whatever. And of course, I'm going to be looking at all the great Odyssey commentary that's coming out right now. It's a real heated debate. Some people are saying that all the rage bait was just actually a marketing tactic all along, and it's definitely film of the decade. Well, I'm going to be clicking like and retweeting on things. So make sure to follow x.com/2egghwhite to stay in the loop.
And I would like to point out that literally yesterday, Eggy was on the front page of Reddit. I took a screenshot. Of course, your famous viral tweet about the Depression era cooking. This was posted to /me IRL, and it had 30,000 upvotes yesterday on Reddit. So Eggy's tweet, and they didn't censor your name, so maybe you got some new followers yesterday from this.
That would, because I've not really been tweeting anything substantial, but closing in on 5,000 followers now. So hey,
wasn't the goal 4,444 like last week, Eggy?
Last time we recorded, it probably was.
Oh my God, we did it! Eggy's had to go viral a few dozen times to get those extra 600 followers, and it worked. And of course, while we're looking at pictures on my phone, here's my cat Isabel. Of course, she's screaming. That's my plug. Go to Eggy's Twitter, help him make some Elon Musk bucks.
So, well, they said that, Nikita Beer, who people have mixed opinions about, but he's the guy that basically runs this thing. He said that he wiped out another $1 million of stolen content. He said they were going to pay out $1 million to these various bot farms, and he found it out and wiped it all out. And so there's an extra $1 million in revenue that he took away from those bot farms that's being redistributed to everybody else. Should be today, actually, so we'll see what my cut looks like. I think I should probably get it in a couple hours here.
We should try that with any trillionaires on the planet. Just take all their money and redistribute it with everybody else and see what happens.
That's what I'm saying. You know what? Hashtag Cross Guild. See me down at City Hall. And you know what? Don't touch any dust coming out of me, because it won't be very easy to wash off.
One Piece, people.